Day away from the MLB trade deadline, and my tone has not changed. Buy. B-U-Y.
What are you, in sync?
B-U-Y, Johnny.
36 hours to the trade deadline.
We're getting there. We're getting closer. The rumor mill was just going nuts yesterday. Like, yesterday was one of those days where every time I put my phone down, I was worried I was going to miss something. There was some fun things going on in the Twins ball game the other day where they were acting like somebody was traded.
Well, there was a game of, like, really friendly guys going on.
I give them a lot of credit because it got everybody. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, wow, something's going on in Minnesota.
I reached out to Audra Martin, the Twins sideline reporter, and I said, like, what's going on? She goes, rumors all over Twitter. I hear he's been traded from social media. He goes, but he's still in the back of the bullpen hanging out.
Right.
So that it was at 9:09 p.m., so I went, okay, I can go to bed.
Yeah,
so that was after the physical altercation that went on between the two men in the bullpen.
In case people weren't watching or weren't on social media, Duran, the closer from the Twins, the high-velocity 102-plus reliever.
I'd never trade him.
He was hugging people. They were basically fooling people into thinking that he had been traded because there were trades around Major League Baseball yesterday. Our old friend Sir Anthony Dominguez traded to the Blue Jays.
Oh, we're calling him a friend now.
Yeah, well, I didn't want him to leave.
You didn't want him to leave. You were adamant. I was lukewarm on it. Like, I didn't think it would come back and haunt us. I was lukewarm. You were adamant that day.
Yeah, and now you have to make trades for relievers because I never want to see Daniel Robert pitch again in a Phillies uniform. Phillies win last night.
Yeah.
6-3 over the White Sox. So they have the rubber match today. Hopefully they don't lose a series to one of the worst teams in baseball. But the Phillies get the win yesterday. Kyle Schwarber with another home run. Jesus Luzardo, good to see him. I get it was the White Sox, but good to see him go 7 innings. 2 hits, 0 earned runs. It was good to see a great outing out of him.
And it was one of those ones where Connor last night I was saying, okay, maybe let's not get the robot umps too quickly. Because Jesus twice last night got the blessing of 2 absolutely atrocious strike 3 calls.
Yeah, we'll take him. And by the way, he only had 4 strikeouts. So
and it really
that
doesn't work. And it really doesn't work in our favor often, it seems like. But last night it certainly did.
Yeah, and so the Phillies win 6-3. Mets lose last night, so the Phils now just half a game back in New York for first place in the NL East. So we're going to talk a lot about the trade deadline. Obviously, we have another topic off it because tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock is the official deadline. In
Clock's
Major League
ticking,
Baseball.
Clock's ticking.
It is, and the rumors are flowing. We got a bunch of them to give you later on the 6 o'clock hour. But real quick, I just want to start off with this. Kyle Schwarber hits another home run yesterday. His 37th of the season. He has 101 hits.
Yep.
That's unbelievable that out of his 101 hits, he has 37 home runs. And he's hitting 256. So it's not like he's hitting 220.
Remember when he was hitting 198?
Yeah, 198. You're right. And I saw a tweet yesterday. I think it was Buster Olney, who basically said Kyle Schwarber has entered the NL MVP race. It really is amazing how dominant of a hitter he's been. And if you remember, the first half of July, he had a pretty major cold streak where it wasn't just not hitting home runs. It wasn't putting the ball in play. And he's since got hot again. He's going to hit 40 home runs. He's probably going to reach 50 home runs. And you said clock's ticking? Same goes with the contract talk because as this season progresses for Kyle Schwarber, more and more dollars are being added to that contract with the way he's playing.
Well, it is very clear, though, and you've heard it now from enough of the real reputable guys in Major League Baseball reporting circles. He's not signing an extension if the Phillies even came to him right now.
Right. Well, he wants to see how this plays out.
They didn't get it done. They didn't get it done before the year. They didn't come with a serious number. They didn't show him they loved him. And now he's going to wait. And we're going to August, and he's going to let this thing ride out. And he'd be stupid not to at this point. Let it run out, and let's see what he's worth. And he is going to be worth a pretty penny.
By the way, on ESPN, they have him as the 3rd best odds right now in the National League. This was before yesterday's game. Ohtani is minus 1,800. So they pretty much have a lock. So let's have fun with the runner-up race. It'll be Schwarber, Juan Soto, or Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubs. That's what they have on ESPN. But another home run for Kyle Schwarber last night. and a good win. All right, so the trade deadline. Who's aggressive, who's not, what's the market? We'll find out. Right now, I'm seeing some things on social media that the relievers are going to be expensive because of the Emmanuel Clase situation, the injury to Jose Bautista, the reliever from the Orioles. Now that the Red Sox are back in the mix, Aroldis Chapman could be off the board.
Well, they said Duran is off the board for the Red Sox. They have literally put that on the record. He is not available.
Right, I'm talking the relievers right now.
But, I mean, with Duran, for the Twins, too, what did last night tell you? Them fooling around like that.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, I wouldn't say that.
I think it's absolutely that he's not going anywhere.
If they get, we'll see.
I don't think that he's going anywhere. I think he was told that he's not going anywhere. I think that's why he's screwing around with people.
Okay.
I think that is why they were screwing around last night.
Okay.
He's not going. Well, believe me, too, again, all these names that were coming up again for weeks. It was sports talk radio and the media that were coming up with these names, and now we're finding out, well, they really weren't available, or this team's not really putting them on the market. This guy isn't really there. A lot of these guys that we've spent endless hours talking about.
Yeah, but the media being Jeff Passan and Jim Bowden and Ken Rosenthal.
And they were never on the market. They were just...
Right, but I'm going to listen to those guys.
Yeah, but it was speculative. Like, these would be guys that would be, well, potentially there, but none of the local... You know, I believe is the local guys who are around sniffing around these teams. They hear.
Right.
They're there daily basis embedded. They weren't telling you these guys. I kept looking. Cleveland, Minnesota. Are these guys out there? None of their guys were talking.
We don't know about Clase. He could have been traded until he decided to bet on balls and strikes.
Could have been. Could have been. You never know.
In fairness, we have no idea because he could be out of Major League Baseball. All right, so you are a little worried about the trade deadline. We've been talking about the last 2 days that we are more anxious than excited, but I'm anxious to the point where I think they make or break their World Series chances in the next 36 hours. You have a little bit of a different worry
Yeah,
this
it's just
morning.
another concern. You know, the word anxious yesterday, it came up in my mind when Amy was talking yesterday. And Amy will be on with Mike Missanelli today. She'll be in the Mike Missanelli show today. And the idea of anxiousness came up into my mind. I found another reason why I should be anxious a little bit is that Dave Dombrowski, a lot of people believe his job may be on the line. And Preston Mattingly getting promoted last offseason because they know Preston Mattingly could be out the door this offseason if he doesn't get a boss job, a POBO job, as you'd like to say, Connor.
Correct.
If the Phillies don't want to lose Preston Mattingly, they might be saying to themselves, Dave Dombrowski gets this chance. He's had plenty of bites at the apple to get something done, and it's been declining results. If he doesn't get something done, do you lose Mattingly and keep betting on Dave Dombrowski? So to me, you got a guy who is sitting there with all the assets at his disposal that might know, I got to get it done this year. This is the last hurrah for Ranger, the last hurrah for Schwarber, last hurrah for Real Muto, at least under contract. What has he got to lose? He doesn't care. If the Phillies show him the door, he's got a contract for another year where he's paid, so the Phillies would have to pay him. If Nashville does get an expansion team or a team relocates there, the Nashville folks wanted him to quarterback their...
Right.
So he'll get another job. Dave Dombrowski will get another job in baseball
in like 5 seconds.
He doesn't care. So that worries me. When somebody's got nothing to lose and he doesn't care... Look, Dave Dombrowski's a very nice man, but he doesn't give a damn about us. He doesn't give a damn about our next 10 years. He cares about his next 10 years. It's human nature. He doesn't care if we get put into baseball purgatory because of moves he makes at the trade deadline. He doesn't care if he guts farm systems because he's done it in 3 places. But unlike the other 3 places he's been, he came here with a mandate in this job to build up a farm system. And he did that with Preston Mattingly. But now that the farm system's built up, I'm worried about him raiding the shelves. I'm worried that it's the day before a snowstorm. And Dave Dombrowski's going in with a shopping cart, going and getting all the milk and the eggs.
Get them eggs, Dave.
No, don't,
Go
Dave.
get them.
Dave.
Get the double-decker, like 30-pack.
You know what?
So get the 60 eggs.
Dude.
Get the 2-gallon jugs.
Dude.
I want you smashing them like Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
Dude, you got decades to go doing this job.
And you'll be sitting there with me.
And I'm
going to
say,
those decades,
well,
John.
forget that nonsense. But you have to worry about this, and the fans got to worry about this. It could be a long, long time.
Bye.
Oh.
No.
Yeah,
Come
bye,
on, man.
bye.
All right.
Bye.
What would John Kincade consider dangerous? I saw a report that I feel like you would say no to. The market may be the market. We'll discuss that next. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Philly fans, you are the best sports fans in the world. You're not stupid. So why?
It's too dangerous. John believes there's danger this trade deadline because maybe Dave Dombrowski has nothing to lose, so he'll be extra aggressive.
If you knew you were going to, if you knew you were dying, and you weren't married,
Okay.
you weren't married, you didn't have kids, you didn't have anybody to worry about.
Glad
And
we're
you
keeping
went-
it light.
No, I'm just saying, but if you knew, no,
Are
seriously.
we killing any grandmoms this
No.
morning?
You knew you were dying. You didn't have anybody to worry about. You didn't have anybody you're worried about. And you had all your money. You had a couple $100,000 in the bank. You'd live it up, right? You wouldn't be worried about leaving that money for anybody.
I would give it to Connor.
You'd be
Thank you.
You'd be living it up. You'd be doing whatever it took. Connor would wait. Connor would be flatlining when the last dollar was being handed over either to the bartender or to the whatever it was. I mean, come on now. You'd be living it up. And I'm worried about Dave Dombrowski doing that.
All right. So I saw a report yesterday from Noah Hiles. He covers the Pirates. So this is one of your local reporters.
Yes. I don't know who he is, but he might very well be a great one. I don't know.
According to Hiles, the Phillies, Tigers, and Rangers are three teams that are the most active making the phone calls for
Bednar,
David
right?
Bednar. Yeah, the reliever who's been tremendous this season, tremendous 4 out of the last 5 years. Last year was really the only clunker in his last 5 years. And the report from Hiles is that the asking price has included at minimum a top 5 prospect.
Okay, here's where I get this. Again, this is where and again, not trying to poo-poo Mr. Hiles. So I would have to believe that the general manager of the Pirates told him what he's asking for.
That's what he's hearing.
I don't believe it. Like I don't believe they're asking. Even executives that I've talked to for 20 some years, I'll say, what do you like? Are guys available? Yeah, they're available. And then I'll say something like, and they'll go, oh, it's too expensive but they're not telling me, yeah, you got to go this guy, this guy, this guy. I don't believe these guys
All right.
talk like this. You know what I mean?
All right, I'll ask you this then.
Yes.
Screw you, Noah Hiles, apparently.
Unless you got a GM that's just stupid telling beat writers exactly what they're doing.
Would you give up a top 5 prospect for a reliever? Is that considered?
For a Duran?
No,
second.
in this case, we'll go
Bednar?
Bednar.
I could be talked into it. Probably, but I'm not a Bednar's not a closer.
He will be for this team, I would imagine.
Well, you see, but that's ridiculous. Like he's not a closer.
I
Again,
mean, he's closed games for the
Yeah,
Pirates
for the
this
Pirates.
year.
but he's not a closer. He's not been a closer in his career. He's never shown you that he has that. That is his pedigree.
Is he?
And being a closer for the Pirates and on an occasional basis is nothing to do with being a closer for a pennant race team.
He's about 400% more of a closer than any pitcher on this team.
He had 39 saves in 2023.
I think that's fair. I think that's very fair what you say there, Connor.
He led the league in saves just 3
It's
years
very
ago,
fair.
2 years ago. So he's a closer. Can be a closer.
And why is he not the closer at that point after that then? If he was successful doing it then.
He was,
He
but
pretty much, yeah, it is.
No,
But
but if he
remember,
was-
baseball's also changed where they do the high leverage situation.
Some
we
teams do.
We see it here, right?
Yeah,
we see
some
it here
teams
all the
do.
time. So that all right. So you don't believe that is considered dangerous?
No, but I would be that's not a dangerous one. I could be talked into that. Believe me, if Bednar's here on Friday morning, as I'm driving, I'll put you guys up on the app. I'll listen, and I'll be like, okay, I feel better about the Phillies' chances.
Okay. So what is
Absolutely.
dangerous then? Because
Dangerous to me is if you say, I'm going to blink and I'm going to overpay by saying, I'm going Painter. I'm going Painter and Miller in the same deal.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would happen.
I promise you, CT guarantee right now, that is never happening.
I want a CT 18 guy.
Yeah,
CT
exactly.
18 guarantee.
Well, first
CT
off,
whatever number
Miller,
guarantee.
I think the stock has dropped a lot on. Whether I don't believe that I'm ready to give up on him as being a bum or anything like that. But his stock is a hell of a lot less than it was last trade deadline.
Yeah, he's movable.
He's movable. No, he's movable in my book.
Yeah, Arun
absolutely.
Escobar is movable.
But
Mick
it's-
Abel is movable. But Painter and Miller are not going in the same deal for anybody available right now.
That's
Unless
where.
it's like a Rooker Miller. You know what I mean?
How about would you see a Abel and a Crawford?
Sign me up.
No.
That have
No.
to get you two
No.
big-time players. Whoa.
That's dangerous is what I'm saying. That's a dangerous deal.
You like McAble a lot more than I do.
Abel and Crawford in the same deal is too dangerous to me. You asked me what dangerous is.
I'm saying sign me up, but if you think that's too dangerous, that's too dangerous. So we'd like to hear from you.
That's the line, yeah.
610-632-0975. Is there danger with this trade deadline? What is dangerous for this trade deadline? Chime in, 610-632-0975. Now, coming up next, we'll give you all the latest rumors around Major League Baseball. One insider said that this is the most bizarre trade deadline that he can remember. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
The Phillies bounce back. I'm Connor Thomas, and this update is brought to you by Moyer & Son. Summer's heating up. Call Moyer Indoor Outdoor for expert pest control and lawn care. Moyer, trusted service, year-round solutions. Visit eMoyer.com today. The Phillies took down the White Sox in a bounce-back performance, 6-3, the final. Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings to earn the win. Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh also went yard in the wind to help power a better offensive night for the Fightins. And the Phils now have Game 3 in Chicago at 2:10 p.m. today as they look for their 3rd straight series win. Taijuan Walker will be on the mound facing off against Adrian Hauser. We're also just one day away from MLB's trade deadline. It'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. The rumor mill has reached a near fever pitch. We're on Hug Watch. We're on Fake Hug Watch. We're on everything. We'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about big moves around baseball. Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday as training camp continues at the NovaCare Complex. Jalen Hurts met with media after practice and talked about the development of the new offense with offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
So it sounds like the offense developing as planned. We'll talk to Adam Schefter at 7:55. Andrew DeCecco joins us from the 8 o'clock hour on. This update's also brought to you by Mattress Firm. Need better sleep? Upgrade to a premium bed now and get the rest you deserve. Mattress Firm, best sale of the year. They make sleep easy. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hall of Fame sports writer Jason Stark.
dangerous for the Phillies to do at the trade deadline.
What level of danger are you willing to accept?
Look, I to what Connor said, I can't imagine that there would be a Painter Miller trade in one.
Okay, but that's one. But that's one that, like, okay, that's one you would go to. But if I said to you, I said Abel and Crawford,
I would.
You'd do it. I would
be
not.
fine with it. Yeah, I mean, I have to know what the return is.
That's
but like,
too
yeah,
spicy
like,
for me. Okay, no. If I said to you Duran,
the closer.
yeah, too expensive for me.
No, I would do it. Look, I don't like Abel as much as you do.
Okay.
Justin Crawford, we'll see what happens. Like,
well, we haven't gotten to see because the Punxsutawney Phillies
Right.
are afraid of their own shadow.
he could hit 270 in Major League Baseball with zero power, or he can slap 230. Like, I don't know, and that's why I go proven versus unknown all the time.
I mean, a week ago, and Connor, not to throw you under the bus, but a week ago, Connor was all in on Byron Buxton when we were arguing Byron Buxton.
Yeah,
and by the way, shocker again, Byron Buxton's on the injured list again.
I just want to make this
Shocker.
clear. I saw Chris Miller on our YouTube chat. Is Andrew going to bring up Byron Buxton because he would have given up anything for him? I never said that.
Well, first off, you never said anything for him.
Never
But you
said
said you would you'd discuss it.
Yeah, because he's a good baseball player. But I also said, why would I bring in another Embiid into this
And
city?
I said, don't bring in Joel Embiid.
Yeah, like
we've lived this.
Yeah,
and here
I
he is again, another. Oh yeah, my rib cage is bothering
could
me.
be strategic.
This guy, honestly, he's out. I mean, he's out with.
It's a shame because the guy he's a tremendous baseball player.
Not ideal, but there are not a lot of options.
Yeah, but you can't bring in someone like him. Not to this city.
I'd rather bring in Byron Buxton than nobody. And it might be nobody. That's the thing that we've got to open our mind to. This is not a big, deep market for right-handed bats. If Eugenio Suarez goes to Chicago, where are the Phillies?
And that's why I say, Dave, don't let that happen. Buy, be aggressive.
By the way, Chicago wants pitching. They want starting pitching. That's what they need. The Cubs need starting pitching badly. And by the way, they're not looking for one. They're looking for a frontline guy and a veteran innings eater type of guy.
They lost Steele at the very beginning of the season, who was a tremendous arm.
I don't know where they're finding starting pitching. Now, the one name did bother me, even though he hasn't pitched that great, is they supposedly are deep into Zach Gallen.
Yeah, so Jim Bowden yesterday, former GM, now covers Major League Baseball for MLB Network, CBS Sports. He does a great job. So he puts out a tweet yesterday afternoon, that this is the most bizarre trade deadline that he can remember. Some of the best starting pitchers that are available are having subpar years. So like Dylan Cease, Zach Gallen, who you just mentioned, Sandy Alcantara, who is an incredible talent.
Coming off of the thing is, though, he may be the one that's sneaky. Coming off of Tommy John.
Yeah.
Like, he could be one that's really sneaky, and you got control of him, I believe.
Yes. But those three pitchers who could legitimately be available are having pretty bad seasons. The best closer on the market, according to him, was Clase. He doesn't mention Duran. Duran's on administration leave because of a gambling investigation.
Right.
The best power hitter, Suarez, gets hit by a pitch 2 nights ago, out of the lineup yesterday. By the way, good news, they expect him to be back in the lineup today.
Correct.
If I'm the Diamondbacks, I'm not playing him, honestly.
Yeah,
I think they want him. I think they want people want to see him bat because they were saying teams are worried about the finger.
Okay.
He has to show that he's okay, because if his finger's hurt or something and he can't bat and he can't they want to show a couple productive days at the bat, because if he can't,
well, it's really just gonna be one today. It all comes down to today. And then the best 2 center fielders, Robert and Mullins, struggle, and the best available power hitter other than Suarez is Ozuna, who has the 5'10" rights.
Right.
Who could stay in it? Like, he could just stay in Atlanta.
I believe he would go. I believe he would go if the right thing, especially now Acuna injured again.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Shame for him, man.
I mean, it looks like it's breaking down on him, so that's not good.
Yeah. So a crazy deadline.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. We're like 35 and a half hours, and we have no freaking idea where this thing's heading.
Yeah.
It could be agony, ecstasy. We have no idea.
No, we've literally no idea.
And we're all over the map as far as how much we're all in, how much aggressiveness we want, where they might go.
I do believe. Here's just the sense from constantly reading. Right, you've been bringing up how in recent years, top prospects have not been being traded as much, or top 10.
Yeah, it is
prospects,
definitely slowed down.
I think it's a little bit more expensive this year. Not too expensive, not Andrew Painter for David Bednar, but I do believe that this year is going to be a little bit more expensive based off of the way these guys are
I think that's
reporting.
fair.
I mean, because there's going to be bidding wars for a lot of players, especially to the point that Jim Bowden makes. Like, the best closer that was available is on administration leave. So now all of a sudden, a guy like Bednar, his price increases. A lot of other relievers' prices increase. There's the other reliever from the Pirates. His price is going to release.
Sound it out, boys.
Increase. Santana, that is. So I think it's going to be a little bit more expensive. Now, the Phillies got some decent news yesterday from an injury standpoint. Aaron Nola is going to be throwing 60 pitches tomorrow for the Iron Pigs.
And this has been the greatest mystery injury ever.
Yes,
What's
because it's been going on. We don't. Well, the fractured rib.
That's amazing.
The Phillies will plan to keep him on every fifth day.
Right.
He could be back with the ball club on August 15th, this according to Matt Gelb. So that's 2 weeks away. And then we will basically watch a sprint for who's going to be in the rotation from August 15th until the end of September.
And it is a sprint.
Oh, it's a sprint. Total sprint.
How about this one for you? This is from Miami newspaper. You're going to have to part with a back top 10 prospect for Sandy Alcantara. I'd do it. I would do it.
Sure.
He's a top 10. He's under guaranteed contract. You owe him for next year. You'd owe him for next year's money, $17 million.
Yeah, you have him through 27.
You have a club option for 27
when there's no baseball being played.
Well, yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent in 28. If it's a back top 10 prospect that they're saying,
like that's it, or is it part of the
they're
package?
saying a back top 10 prospect leading whatever package, like no higher than that.
I would do that. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I'd do Sandy Alcantara in a second. And by the way,
bring him home.
There's somebody coming off of Tommy John and everything that I'd feel fine too, saying, now there's an arm that I wouldn't mind putting in the bullpen. Let him have the off season to get better with Tommy John, and then have him in my rotation next year if you lose Ranger.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat, dude.
I would absolutely do that. I'd make that move in a second. It's one that we're not talking about.
No.
I don't love it.
Why?
Because he hasn't been good this year.
Yeah, you have to hope that, again, another year following the Tommy John.
Remember,
because he's been one of the better pitchers in baseball.
And remember, we're talking about the pickings. The pickings aren't good. Like right now, this is like where you go into the store and it's the day before the snowstorm. And you got all the idiots have already been there, hogging up all the stuff. So you got to pick what you can get. And I tell you, I'd grab him in a second. If that is where any package would begin, a couple of prospects.
I'll give you this, Connor, because you don't love it. You can go Justin Crawford for David Bednar, or you can go Gene Cabrera for Sandy Alcantara. One guy's your 3rd overall prospect. The other guy is your 10th overall prospect. What are you doing?
Well, I'm not doing Crawford for Bednar, but I don't think it'll take that much to get him.
Well, I'm basing it off of the guy that covers the Pirates that says they're asking for a
top
5.
Prospect. So I would go Arun Escobar because he probably has the least fit here right now.
Okay.
And
so
that's fine.
Arun
I don't want to move Crawford. Crawford is right behind Painter as far as don't want to move because this outfield's going to need future help. So when we talk about what's too much, Painter is definitely too much. And Crawford
so you're almost at Crawford's off the table for you.
No. He's not off the table. But if he's moving, Stephen Kwan might be back on the market now.
Sure.
With what's going on in
he
Cleveland.
is. I think it seems like he is.
He is. But
what did you say to me this morning, though, when I said to you my concern?
So Johnny's concerned because he's another left-handed bat.
Like it's. But I don't championship clubs aren't built like.
But I don't think you can look at Kwan as, lefty, righty. He's a 300 hitter.
You are correct on that, but it's just so lopsided.
No, I hear you. But I don't look at him as a, I know he bats left-handed.
No, I get you.
It's not like they're going to bring in a left-handed specialist that's going to K him up like the Phillies used to with like Ryan Howard. Like that's,
right.
That's not going to happen. All right, coming up next, we'll check the text line for the first time this morning. How far are you willing to go? What is dangerous? Is there danger with Dave Dombrowski and a lot of the pressure that he's been feeling over the last couple of playoff debacles? And could the Phillies shop in the bargain bin and get away with it? Johnny's got eyes on someone. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Do you feel unfulfilled? Do your afternoons feel like Groundhog Day because you keep hearing the same old
By The Fanatic. On Adam Schefter Wednesday, training camp continues for the Philadelphia Eagles. So Schefter joins us at 7:55, a little over an hour from now. Also, Andrew DeCecco for the final 2 hours of today's show, taking a break from Unfiltered to do Kincade and Salciunas this morning.
The custody here. I mean, this is good. We get our kid back. I said we get our kid back from Bill Colarulo. We got some visitation. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Looking forward to
Bill and Ricky give him back a little bit.
How about
I'll tell you, his coverage has been excellent.
Oh, dude, he's been great.
Camp, and it's been fun listening to Unfiltered. It's been great. So looking forward to having Andrew in with us.
Yep, looking forward to it. All right, so you have a player that you could maybe get from the bargain bin. We'll get to our text line about Dave Dombrowski and the dangers of this trade deadline because he's probably feeling the heat a little bit. But we'll get to those texts in a few minutes. What do you got?
I'm going to ask you about the player. His name is
who's the player?
Chaz McCormick.
All right.
Okay. Local. Literally like around the block from, the borough. Chaz McCormick, a right-handed batter, center fielder, not getting pushed because they're trying to play other players in Houston.
Yeah, he has not been a starter this year.
He's only had 68 at-bats. Well, he's been injured for a lot of things, and then coming back, he's had 68 at-bats. They're looking for reportedly from the Houston beat writers, you can get, he's 30 years old, so he's a year older than Alec Bohm. You're going to get for a mid-level prospect or two. You can get Chaz McCormick, a right-handed batter who is considered superior as fielder.
Yes, he's a better outfielder than Brandon Marsh. Yes.
So you're upgrading your defense. He's a right-handed hitter. In 68 at-bats as of yesterday, he was hitting 250. I'm going to tell you, look, you're looking for another right-handed bat, dirt cheap, bargain bin. Why not?
I just worry what's left in the bat at this point. 0 home runs this year, 3 doubles. Last year, also in limited opportunities, 94 games, 5 home runs and 6 doubles.
I'm not worried about
the pop's been gone.
I'm worried about right-handed bat in the lineup. Give me another right-handed bat in the lineup. Get rid of the balance. And more importantly, I'm always a believer is my lineup better? Is my roster better today than it was yesterday? Can I do something to upgrade my roster? Can I lose somebody and upgrade it?
So
it's a bargain basement thing. By the way, not the day for it too. When Marsh, as Connor points out this morning, Marsh is always good for one of these little runs.
Yeah, he's got 3 to 4 week stretch every season where he just looks great.
So McCormick, here's what you could do with him. He's better than Johan Rojas.
He's better than Rojas, no question.
So if you bring in McCormick, he's not your starting center fielder.
No, he's not.
He would platoon with Brandon Marsh.
Correct.
That would be what they end up doing.
And he's better than what you got. Your roster is upgraded with another, and you had a right-handed bat.
Right, and that replaces Rojas in the platoon role.
You'd have to say, though, we're cutting bait on Rojas. It's over.
Yeah, I think the Phillies have made that kind of clear already. Like
low key, they have.
It seems pretty clear that they have lost interest in Johan Rojas. I mean, it
is. And by the way, Rojas has contributed a lot to that. I don't feel sorry for Johan Rojas. Right. He's made. I think the Phillies have given him a lot of opportunity.
He makes just a lot of mental errors, man.
Yes,
a ton.
Yeah, and to me, I can't have that. Absolutely can't have that. If I'm the Phillies, I can't have a guy.
Yeah, you make enough mental mistakes on this baseball team.
Right, I can't have that stuff going on.
All right, what do we got on the text line this morning, Connor, at 610-632-0975?
All right, so we have plenty of people checking in on the trade deadline. Zach leads us off and says, I'm not giving up Crawford in any deal that doesn't include a reliever and an outfield bat, or just a young outfield bat. Doesn't make sense to give him up without an outfielder included.
Well, hold on a second. First off, Crawford's not getting you 2 players.
He ain't getting that.
He's saying any deal that doesn't include. So it's part of.
No, he said a reliever and. Read the text again.
Right. I'm not giving up Crawford in any deal that doesn't include a reliever and an outfield bat.
Okay, so in other words, if you're putting Crawford in a deal, he wants it to be like an all-in deal.
Exactly. Yeah, like
it's a big
deal.
To it.
Crawford's
he's not
with
saying
someone
Crawford
else.
Gets you
yes.
that.
Right. Okay.
So he's saying this is. I think this is referring to like he would be in on a Crawford Able.
Yes.
If it delivered. So give me the deal. Give me the deal in your heads.
Well,
what would it be?
It doesn't really work for Cleveland anymore because
Clase can't do it.
But I guess if you're going to do Quan, you could do like Crawford and Escobar, Crawford and maybe Brian Rincon or something.
Quan's a hell of a player, as you point out.
Yeah, he's a hell of a baseball. He doesn't have power. But this team needs to get guys on base.
He's fourth in
hits in the American League.
Yeah, like the guy gets on base
over a 3.5-year period.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I saw an interesting sort of just trade speculation from Hembo.
Okay, like Hembo.
Twins,
another Westchester zone.
Twins trade.
Okay,
for Griffin Jacks, who is the reliever that's not having a great ERA season this year.
He's more the bin at Walmart where you go through the big bin of the DVDs.
He's one of those guys. Well, he's one of those guys where he's been good before. You hope that they unlock something like a Gregory Soto, right?
Yeah, what would you give up for him?
So, I'm gonna guess maybe it's something to that extent of an Able and Crawford.
Hell no.
Hold on, it's not that. It's not just Griffin Jacks. Also, Willie Castro would be in the deal. He's a shortstop for the Twins. You could play him at second base. He's suggesting he could be almost the everyday second baseman because he is a switch hitter who hits for average and has some pop.
Let me see Willie Castro. I don't know enough about him to comment unless I look at it.
It's whether or not you believe in Bryson Stott. That's what it comes down to.
Living in this big blue head up in outer space. Yeah. No. Castro doesn't do enough for me. That doesn't do enough.
He does more for you than Bryson Stott does right now.
He does, but it doesn't. I believe you could get almost that out of Edmundo Sosa. If you gave Edmundo Sosa 294 at-bats, I guarantee you I could get out of Edmundo Sosa, I could get 27 runs batted in. I guarantee you I could get that. I could get 48 runs if I gave him 294 at-bats.
It depends on what the guys are doing behind you.
No, but I'm not like, I don't think that's that.
Twins haven't really been a good baseball team this year.
I got you. I don't think that's.
It was just, it's okay. Another one of these. We haven't thought about this kind of a move.
I haven't thought about that, but it's okay.
And you have said yourself that you would be in on finding an improvement at second base.
I cannot go into next year with Bryson Stott as my second baseman.
Yeah, but
I'm open to it. I'm open to thinking about this.
Again, that's an off-season problem. We got bigger fish to fry.
Why would we not fix something we can fix?
Because
why would we put
the guy plays really good defense. The guy that you have in center field right now that you're trying to replace does not. The guy that you're trying to maybe move around in right if you get an infielder does not.
Okay,
right?
Castro. Okay, I'm just going to tell you here. Castro is certainly not a problem defensively. Castro, one of the better defensive second basemen in the American League.
Right, but I don't want a lateral move defensively or offensively.
It's not a lateral move because he's very
better.
He's very good. He's a very good defensive player. He's better than average.
I got you.
And he's a clearly superior, and he's a switch hitter.
There are guys out there that are better defenders, better offensive players, better fits.
Yeah, but you're doing this to then also fix a bullpen piece in a deal.
It's part of the trade.
Right. What I would rather do is I would rather go get Harrison Bader, who played in this division last year, right-handed, outfield bat, plays solid defense, just robbed a home run last night in Minnesota, able to do that with Griffin Jacks.
Hasn't he been pretty bad this year?
Sure. Go for
Bader's
it. Guess what?
Yeah.
He's a guy that was on the team that knocked you out last year that kind of fits the whole NL East, Northeast baseball type thing, that has been a big game player for teams. I would like Harrison Bader on this baseball team, and he won't cost you much.
Yeah, he won't cost you much for sure.
And the Mets gave up on him, and the Mets are back in on him, reportedly.
Okay.
The Mets reportedly have kicked tires on him again. I mean, I think he's somebody that they would say, hey, go. He's had a better year than last year. He's done better with Minnesota than he did with the Mets last year. Connor, I'm not anti that. I'm not anti-considering it. Let's put it that way.
It's going to be interesting. We are a day away.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is we're 35 hours now.
Yeah.
And we have no freaking idea.
And that's the beauty of this trade deadline, even though I'm anxious as hell because I don't know what they're going to do, and I just need to make sure that they do something. Don't mess this team up, Dave. All right, coming up next, we'll check some more text messages. Also, is Howie Roseman still thinking about adding more to the defending Super Bowl champions? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A Game 2 win for the Phils. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies beat the White Sox 6-3 last night up in Chicago as Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings during the win. The numbers look darn good. But if you look at the actual game, well, he did have some rough patches. Doesn't matter. He got through 7 scoreless, and that's something to build on. Kyle Schwarber, Brandon Marsh, they gave themselves something to build on as well. They both went yard in the wind to help power a better offensive night for the Phils. They have Game 3 in Chicago today at 2:10 p.m. as they look for their 3rd straight series win. Taijuan Walker faces Adrian Hauser. We're also just 1 day away from MLB's trade deadline as the rumor mill has reached a near fever pitch. We'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about big moves around baseball. The Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday as training camp continues at the NovaCare Complex. Jalen Hurts met with media after practice and talked about the development of the offense with new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo at the helm.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
It's good to hear from the quarterback about how that's being implemented. We'll talk to Adam Schefter at 7:55. Andrew DeCecco from the 8 o'clock hour on. This update is brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage. For a limited time, get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5.
What is dangerous for the Phillies to do at the trade deadline? One more day where I have to say proven versus unknown, Johnny, or a day and a half. A day and a half more. One more show with you because you're on vacation. Oh, no, two more
Friday,
shows. You're on vacation Friday. Where I keep on saying, I don't care. Trade away. Get whoever. You keep on bringing up the 10 years of bad baseball.
Yeah, because
I've
I've heard your generation of Philly fan whine about the fact that you grew up with the Rollins and Utley and Howard and everything, and then you were subjected to this horrible purgatory of bad baseball because of the fact that Ruben Amaro Jr. and the administration went and did everything to try to keep that on life support, pumping the body.
That's not necessarily the reason why they were out for 10 years.
What do you think it was?
Bad drafting.
Part of it.
Yeah.
But I also think
the majority of it.
But I also
their first round picks have been trash.
It was, but I also believe that they went too much all in and they got old.
But I'll say
they doubled down on
old.
old.
John, of the players that were traded away in these deals.
Okay.
And this is I can always go back to this. Those players that we're talking about that they went out and acquired, like the Hunter Pences,
Okay.
the Roy Halladay's, the Cliff Lees, Did any of those prospects become something
Yeah, but
other
the
than
thing is-
Carlos Carrasco?
Then that just means that well, first of all, the deals that they made didn't do anything. What they did is they dealt declining results year after year in the postseason. Where have we seen that before? And then what they did is they dealt you in. That just means that the deals you made were poor. I'm hoping Dave Dombrowski makes better ones. I'm hoping that Dave Dombrowski takes the prospects and turns them into better deals than what were made at the time.
Can you say deals were poor that led you to a 102-win season?
Yeah, I don't care about a 102-win season when you're a team that knocks on the door because, again, it's cosmetic. It's about October. It's about building a team that wins in October.
I don't think it's fair to say 102 is cosmetic.
Okay, if it's 102 and you've never won, but when it's 102 and it's on the back end of all of these October disappointments,
Where you won a World Series and got back to another.
and you got back to another, and then
Yeah.
but again, it's you're taking the escalator down. You're going down.
Yeah, but I would understand your point more if those prospects that they traded away became legitimate major leaguers,
It's
and
what-
you're like, wow, look at what we could have had if they didn't trade for Hunter
Or-
Pence. Look at what we could have had if you didn't trade for Pedro Martinez.
Or it's the deals you make. The deals you make is that you can't go and compare the eras because what maybe Dave Dombrowski makes better deals. And by the way, his track record and his resume would tell you that Dave Dombrowski will make better deals. That he is a better president of Pobo. He is a better Pobo. That he'll make better deals. He'll find a better way for it. We'll find out. But I do believe this team's old.
Yes. Oh, I got that sense at spring training.
And so I'm just saying to you is if you're all about getting rid of prospects and getting older, it's not going to mean this team's getting better for the next 10 years. It's going to mean you're going to have to hit the factory reset. You're going to have a period of time where this organization is down 3-4 years where you're going to be willing to suck it up and go through a bit of a rebuild.
If the Phillies don't hit on the reason why they have prospects to move is because they actually hit on prospects that people value. Nobody valued Jesse Biddle.
Okay, what I'm going to
You know what I mean? Nobody valued Cornelius Randolph.
Okay, what I'm going to say to you is last year at the trade deadline, Andrew Painter, his stock was higher.
Correct.
Last year at the trade deadline, Aiden Miller's stock was higher than it is today. We can have these prospects, and it actually plays a little to your point, is that their stock was higher last July than it is this July.
Yeah, but
So
Abel's
who knows what they will be next year? Abel's
was
was
lower.
lower.
Yeah.
It's
It
higher
changes
this year.
all the time,
and it's higher
right.
this year. So you don't know. We have no idea what we got and where it's going. But the thing is, getting rid of them all, then if you get to the next level of prospects, we're 2-3 years away from them being ready to come up here and actually be names.
2-3 years away when you might actually need them. Right now, you don't need Eduardo Tait. Right? Right now, you don't need him.
Well, you're gonna.
Yeah, 2 years from now.
Well, 2 years from now
Who
is the
should
year
catch you
that
next year?
exists, Andrew.
If they bring back Real Muto on that
and then
2
they
for
pay,
20 that we've
again,
talked about.
And then what that does is is it Applebee's? They giving him an Applebee's deal?
Yes.
No,
he
what
had
you're
the
doing.
walkout song, the Applebee's.
What you're
did,
doing,
that's
though,
right.
What you're doing though is then you're doubling down on getting older, and being old. You're doing what cost you in the past. You're saying we're going to just keep holding on and getting older, and doing that. And I'm telling you, you're buying into saying the last 5 weeks of JT have been marvelous.
But right now, I'm also buying into the 2025 Phillies. And maybe I shouldn't just focus on 2025. Maybe I should think about 27 and 28 and 29. But right now, I can't lose this opportunity that this rotation has. I can't do it.
Right, but
I
you
gotta
can
strike.
do both. You've just got to put the work in.
Right,
You got to
right.
figure
Look,
out what the right moves are and how to balance.
I haven't said trade 1 through 10, get rid of all of them.
But Connor, the whole thing
you
that
yelled, buy,
Yeah, buy. I'm not sitting here going, oh my God, God forbid we have to give up Mick Abel or Justin Crawford. I'm not that. If somebody says, hey, Aiden Miller's got to be in this deal, I wouldn't be like, oh man, but we really want Aiden Miller 3 years from now. I would be okay with moving on prospects more than the next person, but I'm not saying give up the whole damn farm system.
But Andrew is thinking ahead, though, Connor, too, is that where he brings up a deal like a Willie Castro type thing.
Who are under
Willie
contract for a couple of
And
years.
Willie Castro is a clear upgrade over the guy you've got at second base. And you're like, well, you don't want to do that right now. Why not? Why do you want a black hole? Why do we want to do this when defensively you're not going to miss a thing? You are not missing a thing defensively, and you are upgrading defensively, and you're getting a switch hitter. By the way, he can play. Oh, I didn't realize reading more about Willie Castro during the break. He can also play both corner outfield spots, and he's played shortstop. I mean, this guy has great versatility.
I'm not saying it has to happen. I'm just
it does that,
like,
but I mean, but that's a thinking out of the box thing.
Being creative could also happen this trade deadline.
And Willie Castro could be a guy that think about for the longer term. You're not just thinking about this year.
To me, that's taking your eye off the ball because it's marrying the 2 points, right? Andrew's right. This is a very important season for this team. And if you believe at all in this team's viability as a World Series contender, you need to make moves that help this team now. And I don't think Willie Castro helps you enough now. So I understand looking forward to it.
Why wouldn't he?
He's better than Bryson Stott.
He upgrades what you got right now. He's so much better than Bryson Stott. It's not even close.
What Connor is saying, the assets that you have right now, you want to use for the positions where you think it's more necessary.
But the thing is,
Willie Castro does help you now because he is better than Bryson.
No, for sure.
It's like the center field. It's like the center field debate last year. It's they're winning so many games with these guys. Why should we get better? Because I think getting better in life is always a good thing to try to strive for.
You got a 27 man roster. Why do you not? If you can upgrade spot 25, spot 26 or 27,
you still should.
Why are you not upgrading?
Yep. You're listening.
Why do you not
26, 27 doesn't.
And he's better than one of your starting 8. And he's significantly better. Willie Castro is better than Bryson Stott in every way.
You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington,
Maybe not
Philadelphia.
a walk-up song.
A Beasley Media Group station broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. We will continue talking trade deadline. I promise. It's tomorrow. And it's, to me, makes or breaks how I feel about Dave Dombrowski. It makes or breaks how I feel about this Phillies roster. I've been very clear, John, you've been with me, that this team, the way it's built right now, not a World Series contender, that can change in 35 hours. We'll see. It's a very important deadline. We'll talk about it all show today. We're going to talk about it all show tomorrow. But we also got some Eagles stuff that we want to get into. Yesterday, Jeff McClain joined us for his Tuesday hit, and we talked about the safety battle, because we know that it's between Sidney Brown and Andrew Makuba. McCollum's out there as well because he was a part of the team last season. Here was Jeff McClain talking about who has the edge right now, but take a listen to what he had to say at the end of the clip as well.
In terms of the competition, yeah, I mean, it definitely puts a dent into his odds, because he's a rookie and he's still learning a lot. And anytime not on the field practicing, he's going to miss probably this first day in pads, is my expectation. That makes it more difficult to go out there and win the competition. Again, depends how long he'll be out. Definitely a leg up for Sidney Brown. But, I think the Eagles want to, obviously give both of those the opportunity. But, if neither really steps up to the fore, that could be a position that Howie Roseman looks to upgrade via trade.
So earlier in that clip, he was talking about Andrew Makuba, the second-round rookie for the Eagles. He was out with a shoulder injury, and in competition, we saw it with Tyler Steen last year. It was Steen's job to lose. He gets banged up. Becton plays really well at right guard. Becton wins the job. Right now, Makuba, who I would imagine they'd want to win the job because he's their second-round draft pick, he's out right now. So Sidney Brown gets kind of like the automatic leg up. Now, he mentions trade. There is still a former Vic Fangio safety that is available via free agency in Justin Simmons. And as the clock continues to tick, I can only imagine the price goes down unless there is a desperation signing.
Or a big injury comes in for some team.
Correct.
Right?
And then all of a sudden he'll get a little bit more money, because I know part of it is the dollar amount, which is why he's still out there. But that's something to keep an eye on, that Howie Roseman might still be sort of working in the weeds, either for a trade or maybe a free agent acquisition in Justin Simmons, who knows the Vic Fangio system, if the safety battle doesn't go necessarily the way that they want it to. And I find that the way you hear Jeff talk, it's Sidney Brown has the leg up because of Makuba's injury right now. That's how I got out of it. Like, that's what I heard. And if Sidney Brown wins the job, does that mean they'd rather go elsewhere? Because Makuba's not going anywhere. Right? Like, you could get a guy 1 year left on their deal to play for the season, and then Makuba's your starter next year. Kind of like the Keely Ringo situation, right? You had Ringo, but why wouldn't you, have at the time, James Bradbury / Darius Slay, when you could have these guys for 4 or 5 years, depending on their rookie contract. So maybe this is sort of the same situation where it's Makuba versus Sidney Brown, but they want Makuba, but if he can't play because of injury, maybe they go elsewhere.
I'm hoping that that this isn't going to be some extended injury situation.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Because that'd be a drag. Because you want to be able to see what you got. You're hoping that it's not going to be anything like that. I'm anxious to hear what DeCecco has to say about that when he joins us coming up. I don't want to go the Simmons route. So I'm out on that.
Okay.
Just hearing
why are you out?
Just hearing the reviews of his performance in Atlanta. I don't think that he's the guy.
But you know that if they signed him, this is a Vic Fangio stamp of approval. I mean, it's his guy.
Vic could have had him at any time.
Could have.
And that call hasn't been made. That tells me something.
Well, if the call is made, I would imagine it's the Vic Fangio.
Yeah, but it could be desperate.
Like you heard what he said about Adoree Jackson yesterday.
Could be desperation.
He basically made it seem like he didn't want Adoree Jackson.
I think it's the way it sounded, didn't it?
It really did sound that way.
It did sound that way.
But right now, he's winning the job early in training camp.
Early.
All right, coming up next, we have the latest Nike ad. Jalen Hurts quote edition. Also, how much credit does he get for the latest drafts? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
The summer's here, and you know what that means.
That's right,
It's
it is.
97.5, The Fanatic.
Just keeping you on your toes.
It's getaway day for Connor.
That's right.
He's about to go to Ibiza,
You know,
which I knew nothing about.
not for nothing.
My wife had to educate me on it.
You know, Locked On Phillies podcast, right around the trade deadline, you're leaving.
Don't start.
I know it's not your fault.
Don't start.
I know it's not your fault. It's like we're having the Goodwill Hunting.
He can't help it. that-
I know he can't.
He can't help it that his buddies are acting like,
It's not your fault.
you know.
It's not your fault.
like it's a-
I'll gladly say the guy who's planning this trip, who's getting married, is not the smartest.
well, it's like a sorority.
Love the
it's like
kid.
this is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a
how-
dumb trip.
It's
This
crazy
is a dumb
how
sorority trip.
So we live awesome lives, right? But doing this, what we do for a living.
Yeah.
It is crazy how the sports calendar dictates, all right, when are we going on vacation, as much as it does. It's not like we can, like, I understand all businesses have, like, important quarters and busy seasons and all
Sure.
that kind of stuff, right? Like, when I worked at the pool store, when I was in college, like, I couldn't just, like, take a week off because during the summer, that's when people are going to the pool store, right?
Right.
So in our jobs, it's like, oh, man, do you want to go on this vacation? Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me see. Will there be playoffs at that point? Are there
Yeah,
going to
you
be
can't do
trade
that.
are there going to be trade deadlines at that point?
Like we know when we're blocked.
Yeah.
And we know when we're
We know
open.
for a fact September through February. It's
Yeah, that's a no-go.
That's a
That's
no-go,
awesome, though.
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
I still remember when my wife and I went to Jamaica 2 Februarys ago, I had to say, all right, even like if the Eagles make the Super Bowl, like I can't be away. So we booked a trip like 2 weeks post Super Bowl
Yeah, you can't be
parade
away.
day,
Right.
and the Eagles lost in the first round of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Valentine's Day is like the worst it can be.
Yeah.
So you know you're safe if you go post Valentine's Day.
Yes, absolutely.
So just go post Valentine's Day, make it a big vacation. That's great.
All right, so how we played the clip from Jeff McClain last segment about how if the safeties maybe need help, Howie would make a move. Jalen Hurts has apparently been helping Howie out a little bit. You'll hear from that in a few minutes. But we have the latest Nike ad quote, Johnny.
What?
Here was Jalen Hurts yesterday, spoke to the media following practice, and he was asked about the heat and the fatigue one may feel.
Yeah, overall, I think, fatigue makes cowards of us all. And, these last 2 days have been very challenging from a heat standpoint. And so everybody collectively as a group just continue to push through those things, control what you can. I think this is a good test and a measure of where we are right now and where we desire to go. So, ran the ball well, defense played very well, connected on some in the past game, and got to finish on some. Ultimately, it's just great competition, and that's what it's about in training camp. You talk about building that foundation for a team and establishing the right temperament of a team, and we're coming out here and competing every day.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all. Let me ask you guys, if you had to get a Jalen Hurts tattoo, like of a quote, you know how people get quotes tatted on them?
Right.
Which Hurts quote?
Well, it's not his.
I
He stole it from George Patton.
no, I know.
It's
But
General Patton's quote. I mean, he's just taking General Patton's famous quote and using it.
if you ever watched The Office, it was you miss 100 shots that you don't take. And
Oh,
it was
there you go.
Wayne Gretzky - Michael Scott.
There you go.
Of the Jalen Hurts lines that he has dropped on us over the years.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
That's your tat that
There's
you're
no
getting.
question.
Connor, what's your Jalen Hurts tattoo?
I don't know. I like the DNA quote. I also like rain, sleet, or snow. The Eagles train to go.
That was when he was high as a kite.
Yeah, I love that.
That's when he was 100. That was the first time I've ever seen him smile on a football field.
They keep the main thing. The main thing was again though, but then again, he stole that from Nick Saban, who taught him
but
that.
that one's gone. Like a lot of athletes are using it.
Yeah, but
now.
he stole that from Saban. That's an Alabama thing, so he copied that one too. But stealing George Patton, I mean, General Patton is like his estate should ask for some money if this thing takes off. You could do that. Vince Lombardi then stole that too, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong on that one.
Brendan
Somebody brought
Brendan
it.
has his choice. When
What's
you
that?
take a deuce, you don't sit there and stare at it.
I thought that was Kobe's. line.
Jalen's a sponge, man. He takes them all in.
I thought
Coffee
Kobe
bean.
stole that one.
All right, and then Hurts. And on a more serious note,
Yes.
Jalen Hurts was asked about Howie Roseman yesterday. It was an interesting question about almost how happy you are that Howie Roseman is your GM.
Okay.
Right? Because let's face it,
He should be happy.
Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
has a lot of weapons around him because of what Howie Roseman, and that's what's led to these ridiculous debates on national media. Like, oh, is Hurts actually that good, or is it the players around him, or it could be both? But here was how Hurts talking about his appreciation for Howie. But listen to what he had to say at the end.
I appreciate, the conversations that we've had and nudging him to go SEC. I mean, it's been a lot of Alabama, a lot of Georgia coming through here, and it's been good for us, So he's always been really good at what he's done. I've always had confidence in the SEC from my perspective, and that has evolved over time. And, at the end of the day, you want to have a group that has a mentality and a will to win, and I think that's kind of a staple down there.
Has Jalen Hurts been part of this push for the SEC? Because remember, he was in the draft with the Jalen Reagor fiasco.
Well, then everybody should take credit for it. I know I've screamed bloody murder about it since the day I arrived.
But
why the hell are you shopping? Why
you didn't get a chance to sit down with Howie the way that Jalen did.
Like, why are you shopping? Why are you shopping there? But we do know there's a lot of eavesdropping going on that they do hear everything
they do
we're saying
listen, yeah.
every day. They do get to hear it.
It really is. Dude, it's amazing. So that Hurts draft. The next year you have Devontae and Landon. So Bama, back to back. Then it's Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean, rounds 1 and 3, Georgia. Then 2023, Georgia, Bama. You skip Cindy Brown with the Fighting Illini, and then Keely Ringo, Georgia. And then 2024, you went a little bit off the cuff there with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. But
Toledo's not SEC.
But then you went right back to it with Jahad Campbell in this past draft. And then Makuba with Texas.
But again, as you heard, Nick Saban himself saying they tried to get Quinyon Mitchell to transfer.
Honorary SEC.
That's right.
They tried to get him to transfer. Nick Saban said it flat out. I wanted him. We tried to get him, and he wouldn't leave out of loyalty. So I'm sure Jalen and Nick talk.
Is Jalen Hurts a sneaky Bryce Harper where he's the player GM? Where he's helping?
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I'm sure he lets.
Whose ever idea it was, which again, not a genius idea.
I'm sure.
But whoever's idea it was to finally just draft SEC, it's worked out for this team.
I'm sure he shows more respect for the commissioner.
All right, coming up next, it's a good point. We get back to the Phillies and deadline talk. We'll get more of your text messages, but also, Rob Thompson said something after the game that I couldn't disagree with more, and I hope he isn't talking for Dave Dombrowski. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Luzardo goes 7 strong. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the White Sox 6-3. Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings to earn the win. Said 7 strong in the open. Well, he had his rough spots, but ultimately you can't argue with the results that he put down on the box score. And you can't argue with Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marshall's swings last night. They both went yard in the wind to help power a better offensive night for the Phils. They have Game 3 in Chicago at 2:10 p.m. today as they look for their 3rd straight series win. Taijuan Walker's on the mound, facing off against Adrian Hauser. We're also just 1 day away from MLB's trade deadline. It'll be tomorrow at 6 p.m. And the rumor mill, well, it's rolling, folks. So we'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about big moves around baseball. The Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday as training camp continues at the NovaCare Complex. Jalen Hurts met with media after practice, and he talked about the implementation of the new offense under new OC Kevin Petullo.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
So maybe we will see that evolution of the offense that guys have been talking about throughout the year. We're going to talk to Adam Schefter coming up at 7:55. Andrew DeCecco joins us for the 8 a.m. hour and 9 a.m. hour. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
6 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Brain's working, I promise. It's deadline eve. That's all I care about right now.
34 and a half hours.
Dude, unbelievable. It's going to be nuts tomorrow. I can't wait for it.
I've never seen one, though, that's this. What did the guy say earlier? Was
Jim Bowden, I'll get the tweet for you so I have it word for word. He said that this is the most bizarre trade deadline that I can ever remember. Some of the best starting pitchers are having subpar years. Dylan Cease, Zach Gallen, Sandy Alcantara. The best closer, Emmanuel Clase, is on administration leave. The best power hitter, Suarez, gets hit by a pitch. The two best center fielders, Robert and Mullins, struggle. And the best available DH, Ozuna, has the 5-10 rights. And so it's really interesting that these guys that we're all kind of talking about, not just here in Philadelphia. Like,
it's being talked about all over
the Texas Rangers report that I told you guys yesterday. Rangers, because they got red hot after the All-Star break, are in the market for a right-handed pop bat and a reliever. That's exactly what the Phillies want, and I'm sure that's exactly what like 10 other teams want.
And they won a World Series just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So they're feeling like they can
strike while the iron's hot right now. They all of a sudden made it close in their division.
And they were atrocious last year.
They're 5 back of the Astros, 1 back of the Mariners. I think the Mariners are the final wild card team right now.
They were so bad they were bad in 22. Won the World Series in 23. Were bad in 24, and now making a run in 24.
Well, they got DeGrom back, which is a major help. I mean,
hold your breath on that.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know all about it.
Byron Buxton thinks he's a little fragile.
All right, what do we got on the text line? And then I'm going to read you a quote from Rob Thompson yesterday that freaked me out a little bit. What do we got, Connor?
All right, so Jay from Orlando checks in and says, why do we keep talking about Miller and Painter like they are J-Roll and Hamels? Miller's hitting .222 and Painter has a .468 ERA. Roll the dice and make a move to get proven major leaguers before this window closes. It's a no-brainer.
I think it's not just the stats, right? Like, there is a lot of speculation and upside talk when it comes to prospects, right? There's a reason why they're still considered prospects. You do have to take into account that Andrew Painter is coming off of Tommy John. Could he be much better next year, another year removed from the surgery? Absolutely, and maybe that's why a team would be hesitant to move away from Andrew Painter, in this case, the Phillies. There might be some teams that are hesitant to acquire him because of those numbers. If Andrew Painter is viewed as a top prospect in Major League Baseball, not just the number one prospect in the Phillies farm system. Where do you know where he is in Major League Baseball?
I think he's 6th.
All right, so he's 6th. That means people outside of Philadelphia that do all the speculation, that do the upside talk, that study the game more than we do from a national level. If those people have Andrew Painter at 6, that means he's 8. If those people have Andrew Painter in the top 10, that means he's still viewed as a prospect that a lot of people would be very interested in. It's one thing for us to say, look at his ERA this year. It's another thing for what Major League Baseball is telling you. Now, that doesn't mean they're always right. We talked about the catcher the other day. That was the number one prospect in the Dodgers farm system, and he was on a different team this year and just got DFA'd because he was 1 for 50 in the minor leagues. So prospects can change on a dime. We've seen it happen.
And for the record, Miller is 18th. He's the second highest of Phillies prospects.
So that's why we talk about them so highly despite the numbers this year. All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in on something that Dave Dombrowski should be looking for. Dave should be trying to talk to the Pirates, according to his texter, into Brian Reynolds trade talks. Still under control for a few years and good versus lefties, and an upgrade in left field. Also having a down year, so it'd still be cheap to get.
Brian Reynolds is Zach Levine.
Yep.
We've been talking about this dude.
That's the truth.
And it's been weird.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, I've been literally, I used to do the Fanatic Baseball Show, which was 2019. I was talking about trading for Brian Reynolds in 2019.
That's a great analogy.
Like, he's played for a bad baseball team for many years, and his name always pops up. And then they signed him to an extension like 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure it was. But he's one of those guys where I think we've been talking about for years. He's a very good baseball player. I just don't know when the Pirates are finally going to part ways with him. He's been with the Pirates for 7 years now. And he's been on the trade block for, I'm pretty sure, all 7 of them, at least reportedly. This year, I haven't even heard the slightest. But this is the year he gets moved.
This year, watch.
Because nobody's talking
I'll watch if
about
he ends
him.
up here.
Right. All right. Rob Thompson, after the game yesterday, had a quote that I can't disagree with more. And I'm worried because sometimes the manager is the mouthpiece for the GM or the president of baseball operations. We've seen it, and we've seen it with Brett Brown, right? Having to speak on Sam Hinkie's behalf a lot. He was asked yesterday about if they don't make a move for the bullpen. And remember, a lot of the bullpen arms are dwindling.
Okay.
Either gambling or injury. Rob Thompson, when asked if they didn't make a move, quote, "I'm comfortable with it. You have David Robertson coming. You've got to get in the playoffs, but if you get in, then you have one or two of those starters that can go to the pen. We have some depth. I'm all for moving a starter to the pen. You're going to have to. I can't wake up on August 1st or sip my cocktail after the 6 o'clock deadline, and the strength will be determined on what the moves are made or what moves aren't made, saying, oh, okay, Luzardo and David Robertson are my default additions to the bullpen. Can't do that. It would not be good enough.
Is he preparing us for the inevitable?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm worried that he's speaking for
setting us up for the fall?
I do not think so at all.
Then why is he saying it? Because he doesn't offer. He doesn't. Like, honestly, the man needs paddles to do a press conference.
Here's why he's saying it, because these players are currently on his team. So he's not going to come out and be like, yeah, the bullpen is not good enough. He's not going to come out and be like, yeah, Daniel Roberts stinks. He shouldn't be on this team after the deadline. Like, he as the manager cannot say that. Here's what I will say. If Dave Dombrowski does that and David Robertson is the big trade deadline acquisition, he's toast. His time here in Philadelphia is done. If that's what you do with this deadline, get the hell out of town. And I don't believe that that's what he's going to do, right? Like, I think he knows how egregious that would be.
Okay, yeah. I'm just worried that this is kind of the setup. Like, hey, if we don't get a move, because let's face it, Clase's gone. Bautista's gone. Chapman, I would imagine, gone. The Red Sox 5 back of the Blue Jays. They're in a wild card spot right now. That's 3 of the top relievers that are no longer available at the trade deadline. There's a bidding war now for Bednar. There's going to be a bidding war for the other reliever, Santana, with the Pirates. There's going to be other guys. I imagine they acquire somebody. But the top arms, there's really just, 2 or 3 guys out there right now? And every potential playoff team needs bullpen arms?
By the way, Jim is one of our listeners every day, watches sometimes on YouTube, who is a Pirates fan, Phillies fan, but he is a Pirates guy.
Shout out YouTube as always.
And he says there's Bednar. They moved Bednar out of that role because they did not think he was long-term closer material. The Pirates. That they did have him close. They moved him out of there because they did not think it was long-term he was closer material. It was more out of necessity that he was closing back then. And now that could be a dumb organization.
I mean, he's still the closer this year.
That could be a dumb organization. But they don't, there are a lot of organizations that have closers, though. There are a lot of organizations. It's not like...
Well, what I'm saying is, though, he's been the guy that they have turned to in the 9th inning when they have a lead, which is very infrequently, as we know. But he's got the most saves on the Pirates the last 3 years now. Each season individually.
It is there. I like him. He's one you could talk me into. He's if he ends up on this team by Friday morning, then I definitely like their chances better than before.
Right now, Dennis Santana's their bridge. He's their 8th inning guy because he's got 13 holds on the season. And Bednar's been their closer. And it's been that way for the last couple of years. So I don't know where he's not a closer thing's been coming from. If he's not your go-to guy, sure, we can have that conversation.
Why would they be moving him?
Because the Pirates are rebuilding.
Well, yeah, they stink, dude.
But they're rebuilding him forever. Rebuilding.
He's 30.
Right, exactly.
If you're the Pirates, you don't want to... You're not basing your rebuild off of a 30-year-old closer.
It's like, move him on.
Raider Frank checks in.
I'd feel better. I'll tell you this. I'd feel better about him. If he's here Friday morning, I'd feel better about our chances.
Raider Frank. Andrew, my friend, I love you, buddy, but I think you're going to be extremely disappointed tomorrow.
Oh, boy.
I really don't think Dombo is going to do much. He's going to get a middling reliever in either Laureano or Robert Jr. I would be extremely disappointed.
I like Laureano, though.
Yeah, he's not totally changing things for me. He's a great glove and can hit a little bit, but that's not going to be the now all of a sudden they're World Series contenders, in my opinion, move. All right, coming up next, we have debated whether or not we want the challenge system in baseball. John actually froze hell this morning saying he was...
I laughed at that.
I know.
Yes.
What do the players think about the challenge system? We have some insight on that for you next. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ray Dunn, Mike Missanelli.
When things don't make sense... .5 The Fanatic coming up in about 15 minutes. Adam Schefter for his Wednesday hit. Always love our conversations with Shefty.
So you'll be at a Wendy's Friday, and you'll be Wendy's breakfast tomorrow here in the studio.
Oh, yeah. It's Wendy's week for Andrew
There you go.
Salciunas. Yeah, I'll be at the Wendy's right around Center City. We're on Chestnut. It's 15th and Chestnut. 15th and Chestnut on Friday from 11:30 to 1:30.
Living or friends may stop by. You never know.
That'd be cool.
Is there a happy hour nearby? They very well may stop by. The newly minted 21-year-olds always find a way to.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I don't know if
when
there's
I was
happy hours at
21, I
lunchtime.
found happy hours wherever I could.
I don't know if there is at lunchtime.
I'm still pro happy hour. Happy hour's great.
Happy hour's the best.
I love a good happy hour.
Maybe the best named thing on the planet.
It might be.
Except the old happy hour, kind of the one you've aged out of. The one that they do in the summertime.
What? Oh, Sips?
Yeah.
Well, the Sips is a totally different thing.
Yeah, that's not a happy hour. That's,
Yes, it is.
That's an experience.
No, it is, but it isn't.
What do you mean?
It's a once a week.
It's a happy hour.
Kind
It
of.
is, and it's. But I was. It's you've aged out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't go to Sips.
And Ray Dunn's right behind
No,
you.
Ray is still on the. Living her friends cleared Ray Dunn to be there.
Not much longer. All right. I saw an interesting article on Fox this morning, on Fox Sports. They did a small, anonymous poll at the All-Star game.
Okay.
Wasn't all 50 members. They asked 20 players. So I don't know how
But 20 All-Stars, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a pretty
they
good
selected 20
consensus.
All-Stars. And they asked them a couple of questions. Some of them, like best atmosphere to play in, Yankee Stadium won. Most surprising team this year, the Detroit Tigers. Most underrated player, Jose Ramirez of the Guardians. I agree. One of them I found actually very funny. The player you'd most want to be teammates with, Aaron Judge, got the most votes. Mickey Moniak got a vote. I don't know how.
Hell yeah, Mick.
I don't know how. But Mickey Moniak
got
a vote. Organization you most want to play for, the Boston Red Sox received the most votes.
Wow.
But it was like 4 Red Sox, 3, 2. Like it was a close one.
Okay, that's shocking.
Now, the one that I found very interesting was automated ball strike system, for or against.
Okay.
And this is
So this is 20 guys? Is there
Yes.
20 votes counted?
20 votes.
Okay, I'm going to say that the players
Oh, no,
won.
sorry. They got 14 votes on this one. I don't know why 6 opted not to vote.
Okay,
That's
so
weird.
The automated ball strikes, not the challenge
Not the
system.
challenge system. We're
Okay,
going
automated
all in,
ball strikes, I
which
see.
Rob Manfred said. I remember we read the story like 2 months ago.
I'm going to go 5 won it.
Okay, again, Manfred like 2 months ago said, if we're going to do this, we might as well just go all in.
I'm going to say 5 want the automated ball strikes.
Connor, what's your guess?
6.
How about 12 of the 14 want
Wow.
the
That's
automatic system?
outstanding.
And only 2 were against.
That's outstanding. Get it right.
So hang on. This is, we're sure, not the challenge system.
No,
Correct.
this is for the
This
ball
is the-
strikes.
okay.
Automated ball strikes.
Automated ball
I would
strike.
love. There's no reason not to do it. None. You can get it right 99.78 or 99.81% of the time. Last two seasons, they have full seasons of data. And I would imagine that the cameras they would use and everything at the major league level would even be better. You have no reason to not do this. You can get it perfectly correct. There's still going to be an umpire behind home plate for calls at the plate, things like that. You absolutely should do this.
And whenever the calls at the plate are wrong, you just challenge those too.
Why do it half-assed? Why do the tap and
I would rather go
Just do
all in if we're going to do something. Now, they did get some quotes. Again, they're anonymous. We could probably figure out this first one just by looking at injuries in 2025. Quote, I don't want the full ABS. Being able to go down and pitch in AAA and rehab and other things, I've gotten to experience it. So that's this year.
Okay.
I think there is a use to it, but I don't want to take the human element out of the game.
What's the human element?
I don't want umpires to be completely out of it. The position, the player that was speaking here, they said was an NL All-Star pitcher.
Well, there you go. You want balls to be counted as strikes.
Exactly.
Which is BS.
Now, on the other hand, an American League pitcher chimed in. Again, they're all anonymous.
Okay.
We don't know the names. I'm for the challenge system. I think having umpires and then the human element, they've got the hardest job on earth. They're trying to dictate pitches coming in at 100 miles per hour on the corners, trying to determine is this ball truly on the plate or not. I don't envy their job at all, but I do think there is a human element, and if they miss one, having a team have the opportunity to say, hey, can we take a look at that? I don't think that's the worst thing either.
Okay, that's dummy ball right there. That makes no sense. They have the hardest job on earth, but we have a system that can make it totally not hard, that can get it exactly correct. That makes no sense. In other words, I still want balls to be counted as strikes, so I still want them to get it wrong. So here, let's keep this stupid system in place. Get it right now.
There are just nuances to the game.
What's nuance?
Like framing.
You mean
learning
getting
the
balls counted as strikes?
Yeah.
No,
That's not
agree.
right.
And look,
Hang on.
I would rather not do any systems. I've made that myself clear.
Right.
It's the DH thing all over again where I know it's going to happen. So if it's going to happen, I'd rather them get it right. I would rather them go all in than do the challenge system. I just would.
Like this nuance, this human element stuff, it's double talk. You got a chance to just say, There are balls, there are strikes.
Okay.
Get it right.
Well, not for everybody. Getting it right is not necessarily the most important thing. It is for you. For some people.
Okay, what do we not want to get right about the rules?
I like that when a pitcher misses his spot by 8 inches and it pulls the catcher across the strike zone, that is not given a strike even if it's in the zone. You're a major league pitcher. Hit your spot.
It's like the curveball thing that I've brought up to you guys a couple of times. If it clips the zone, it's a strike. But if that's like a curveball clipping the top of the zone will be considered a strike.
Okay.
That's going to be very hard to get comfortable with.
It will be, but a curveball that is a strike is now going to be called a strike.
Right.
You got to get used to it.
But
just like you got to get used
for 100 years, a curveball that's breaking at the top of the zone would never be considered a strike.
Just got to get used to a pitch clock. Just got to get used to it. You know what I mean? It's just like everything else. And I know that I thought the pitch clock was going to be something that
I loved the idea of it from the beginning.
You see, you did. And I remember you talking about it, and I was shocked that you loved it as much.
Because I knew that baseball was in trouble, and I needed it to be sped up. The games that were averaging like 3.5 hours.
I did not think the pitch clock was going to go this smoothly.
Yeah.
I wanted it. I wanted it, but I didn't think it was going to go smoothly.
Yeah, but like last night in the game, I don't know the name of the catcher for the White Sox off the top of my head, but he was trying to bring the ball back into the zone like very blatantly. And he, because of that, missed a breaking ball that was in the zone at the top because he was snapping his wrist down, and the umpire saw him doing that on every single pitch. Meanwhile, JT's a better framer.
Yeah.
I think that should be rewarded.
You don't know Kyle Teal?
I don't think. See, I don't.
No, I didn't know Kyle Teal. I apologize, Kyle Teal.
I didn't know his name either. I don't think you should. I don't want a guy rewarded for a ball being called a strike that's not a strike.
Yeah, you're rewarding the catcher, though.
Like, I don't want that. No, but I don't want.
Job.
Like, no, that's not doing their job.
Framing is part of the job.
Framing has been for the entirety of the sport.
But it's not. But it's. I want balls called balls. I want strikes called strikes. Period. And I love that 90% of the All-Stars that were polled say just get it right. And by the way, the games will speed up by another 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, because there's no arguing.
And also too, people are they're gonna get up there in their swing.
I'll tell you right now, game's fast enough for me. Last night was like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't need it any faster.
I like it. And I'm thinking of Connor. I'm thinking of the next generation, and it's good. It's good. It's helping.
Are we surprised that the players are for? I was surprised.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be much less. I thought they were all going to be for the challenge.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was surprised by that. You can chime in on that discussion as well at 610-632-0975. Trade deadline talk not going away. We promise. It's a huge trade deadline for Dave Dombrowski and the Phillies. But coming up next, it's a Wednesday. Adam Schefter Wednesday. He joins us next here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
It's trade deadline eve. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies, well, they are just 34 hours, maybe, not a math guy, away from the trade deadline. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. Major League Baseball has been abuzz with rumors over the past week or so, and it's really heated up lately. So we'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about big moves around baseball as the Phillies look to make some moves to improve their team. They improved their record yesterday by taking down the White Sox 6-3. Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings there in the win. Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh both went yard in the game. They'll play one more up in Chicago, Game 3, 2:10 p.m. today, as they look for their third straight series win. Taijuan Walker faces off against Adrian Hauser in the pitching matchup. The Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday. Training camp continues at the NovaCare Complex. Jalen Hurts talked about the implementation of the new offense under Kevin Patullo.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
Adam Schefter joins us coming up next to talk the latest from training camp. Andrew DeCecco does the same from the 8 o'clock hour on. This update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Their instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies with nationwide LTE coverage for a limited time. Get 60% off and free UPS shipping at rapidradios.com. Use code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5 The...
Fanatic, you're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN and WPN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. Here's what we're going to do. We have our third of our five $50 Primo gift cards to give away this week. We'll do Know the Schefter. So Adam Schefter will be joining us momentarily. Listen to the interview closely, and then in the following segment, before we get to today's headlines, I will ask the question, whatever the Know the Schefter question would be, and then we'll give away the Primo gift card because Primo's continues to win, man. Best sandwich shop in America by USA Today for the third consecutive year. Don't feel like cooking, skip the grill, and get Primo hoagies instead. It's not just a hoagie, it's a Primo. While we await Adam Schefter, I saw an interesting comment on our YouTube feed from Dave P.
What's up, Davey P?
Batters don't want to be the ones to appeal a pitch. It makes me think, would they be embarrassed if they go, no way, and they appeal, and then the umpire end up being right?
Wow, Davey P, never thought of that.
And maybe that's why
honestly,
they just go all the way in.
You know what's funny is that never crossed my mind.
I never thought about that either.
Because I think of the fact that these guys, like at the major league level, like they think they know the strike zone so much, they'd be so comfortable with it. But then the manager would be like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because we only get a certain amount of them.
Could you imagine? So maybe that's why they go all the way in.
That could be. Well, I think it should be all the way in.
To save embarrassment.
Yeah, it could
of
be.
The player.
I like it.
All right, he's here.
He is.
Brought to us by Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. On the Comcast Business Hotline, where every day in business is a big day. Let Comcast Business get you ready for what's next. From ESPN, our man Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen. What's going on?
Well, I would love to start with training camp with you, but I can't. I need to know how many Eagles players sold their tickets to the Super Bowl. What's going on? It was a crazy story that came out, and now there's talks about how they will increase the fines in this upcoming Super Bowl 60. Can you dive into it? How much was it? Do we know who was involved in this story?
I got to be honest with you. I just got little bits and pieces, but I was on the phone with the team yesterday that was talking to me about it. They brought it up, and they said apparently there was a player who got stopped and had records of other players, and that's how the league found out about it. It was kind of a funky little thing, but there are a lot of people within the league, I think, the amount that the NFL sells these suites for, I don't think it's legal. They're allowed to do whatever they want, but there's a lot of money that work for a lot of people that work around the NFL, I guess, that make money on these things. And so the fact that the players can, I don't know, it seems a little crazy to me, but there are rules, I guess. If they're I don't know what's legal and illegal. If they're not doing anything legal, then that's a different thing.
I got to tell you, Adam, I think it's whorish. I mean, like if you get an opportunity as an employee, like if somebody here at the Fanatic said, "Hey, we are Flyers and Sixers flagship station," okay, and they said to us, "We have an opportunity to buy Flyers and Sixers tickets at face value before the public," and then we buy them as a special deal as Fanatic employees. And then they end up on the secondary market and we're charging 2 and 3 times for the biggest games. I think that's whorish behavior myself.
So what do you propose?
I propose that people should be penalized or fined or there should be penalties for it. And I like the fact that the NFL is doing that. Because I think like anything that it's a privilege to get an opportunity to do something like that as an NFL employee, to have an opportunity to buy tickets.
Yeah, and the Super Bowl has become such a pricey affair.
Sure.
That it's unfortunate that many people can't afford to do it because, again, it's a pricey game to attend. But I always think it's great that people can get to go to a Super Bowl in their lifetime. It's a memorable experience.
Yeah, we love being able to bump into you at dinner. Right. Things like that. If someone doesn't have a ticket,
like they're
probably not making the trip.
Damn straight.
Exactly.
That's always fun. I enjoy that.
Exactly.
That's nice.
Shefty, I saw you put out the tweet a few days ago. I feel bad for the guy. Traylon Burks gets released by the Titans after he breaks his collarbone, but I saw you put out the trade that happened where the Eagles acquired A.J. Brown. do you remember a trade that impactful, that one-sided for a team? Because it has been totally great for the Eagles, and the Titans, it's just been a mess.
Well, the Eagles got A.J. Brown, and the Titans got a number 1 draft pick that turned out to be Traylon Burks. They traded the 3rd-round pick with another pick and drafted cornerback Roger McCreary and tackle Nicholas Petit-Frere and wide receiver Kyle Phillips. So there's nobody that's in a mark, right? And they basically lost A.J. Brown. That is the danger in trading a young, ascending receiver. And if we go back to the highlights and what we heard about and things we saw, there were people in that organization that didn't want to make that deal. Now, I don't remember exactly how they got there other than there was a contract involved and it bogged down and they didn't pay him. And then A.J. Brown got traded, and I remember that was the 1 year that I hadn't been to the draft in 35 years. I was at my son's college graduation that night, and I got the call at dinner that A.J. Brown was traded to the Eagles, and I went outside. I remember I was outside with the Michigan basketball team following the story, and there were a couple of Eagles fans like Phil Martelli who were really excited about it, and just you remember these things. And it was a huge trade for the Eagles organization. We know what kind of player and person A.J. Brown has been. It's been a huge pickup, and that was the kind of move that sunk the Titans. I mean, they really have not recovered since that trade. So now they have new people and new quarterback, and I think they're going the right way now, but I don't think that organization recovered from that trade.
When you look at how training camps have evolved, Adam, and now we're looking at the fact that since Vic Fangio's been here, they talk about now training camp's gotten a little more, going to be getting a little more physical. Last year it did, and that this year it'll be a little more active like that. How have you seen training camp evolve around the NFL in the last few years? Do you think it's gotten a little more, a little more like the old school days, a little slide back?
You know, I'll say this to you, John. As a guy who used to live at training camp for 16 years, and then a guy who traveled around, I don't go that much to training camps anymore, okay? And part of the reason I don't go is I found it to be more corporate and impersonal than ever before. That's my experience. And what I mean by that is this. Again, I go back to the days when I covered the Broncos for 16 years. I was eating 3 meals a day with the players and coaches. We were staying in the same dorm. Like, I was around it. Even if I wanted to go grab a player, go grab whoever I wanted, whenever, one-on-one. And now when you go to a camp, it's like everything's off to the side. It's in a group. There's very little... It feels more personal. There's less one-on-one interaction. Am I wrong about that? You tell me.
No, it looks like you're right on target with that one.
Yeah, and so to me, like I'm going to go to camps this summer. I'm going to bring O's around to a couple of camps. Again, O's the mentalist, like I did last year with the Eagles. And I'm going to bring my daughter for Nickelodeon to a couple of camps for her to do interviews. But I am not personally going to a camp to do what I need to get done at all.
So, in other words, your daughter's bringing you. Let's be honest.
Yeah, she's bringing me along to work, right? Exactly.
That's awesome.
Bring your dad to work day.
Yeah,
which is
pretty
great.
much.
Shefty, the big camp battle right now for the Eagles, there's a couple of them, but one of them is safety. Drew Makuba, the rookie out of Texas, and then, of course, Sidney Brown entering year 3. Right. But there's still a safety on the market. Just curious, why is Justin Simmons still available? Is it strictly financial? Is it previous years of play? I mean, he is just 30, so it's not like he's 35, 36 years old. Why is Simmons still on the market?
Well, that's the whole thing, okay? Now, Justin Simmons is an A-plus person, great guy. Sat down, I remember I did a feature with him in Denver a few years back where there was somebody named Justin Simmons that lost his life, another Justin Simmons, and he flew in Justin Simmons' family, and he intercepted a pass that day against the Jets. He's a great guy, and he's been a great player. But at the same time, when you get to that age and you've had a couple of teams move on from you, obviously teams have questions. It's just the way it is. They don't view you as the same type of player. And Justin Simmons has done well in his career financially. I think he absolutely still can play and help a team. And sometimes a player's more selective at this point in his career when he's made some money, not really thrilled about going to camp, waits for the right opportunity, the right spot at the right time. I mean, I don't know this. I haven't checked specifically, but maybe somebody said, hey, we'll bring in on a veteran deal here, 1 year, 2, and he's like, I'm not going to, I'll wait. Maybe there'll be a team that needs a safety more than that and is willing to pay more. That could be a part of it, too. Like, there's a couple of ways. It could be partly him, could be partly teams, but he's in a different stage of his career than he was earlier on.
Kevin Patullo's making an impact already, coming in here as the next offensive coordinator for Jalen Hurts. And seems very, very comfortable in the role. He's a guy who's been waiting for it for a long time. What have you heard in circles about Kevin Patullo?
Well, I think they have a lot of hopes and optimism on him, but, until you do it, you just don't know. Again, whether it's Kevin Patullo in Philly, Kevin Patullo? Am I saying?
Yes, Patullo.
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 Patullo. Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo in Philadelphia, or Ben Johnson in Chicago. Nobody's lost a game yet. Okay? So everything right now is geared toward the positive. And that's great. That's how it should be. But you're not going to really see, until we're into the season a few weeks in. Okay, now we have an idea of what Kevin Patullo can do. A better idea. And I think they have a lot of confidence in him, and they believe in him, and they think he's going to be good. But you got to go do it.
Shefty, we appreciate the time as always as camp continues. Can't wait to talk to you next week, which will be another week closer to real football returning. We appreciate it.
Hold on. Let me just give you the countdown here. Hold on. So the Eagles open.
You want the number?
1, 2, 3,
no, I give you.
4,
I got the count. I do this every single day.
35 days for now. It's 36 days.
36 to the Eagles opener.
36. So what we should do next week, we got to get next week 29.
Oh no, we're there.
I'm for that.
We're already there. It's 148 days to Christmas, 120 to Thanksgiving.
Oh my God! See, look at what you started, Shefty.
You keep a running tracker of that, John?
Yeah,
dude.
Eight days till I go on The Price is Right.
Shefty, John will have his Christmas shopping done in the next 2 weeks.
Wow. You know what? I gotta say something. I love people like that. I just love people who are on it.
I got it all. It's a countdown clock app that my daughter found for me, and she's like, "Dad, this will help you keep things organized in your head."
He always keeps me on my toes with
there we go.
Shefty. Listen, man, we appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Adam.
You guys have a great week.
Take care, buddy.
There's Adam Schefter on the Comcast Business Hotline, brought to us by our friends at Landis Block. Create your very own jaw-dropping backyard paradise online at landisbc.com. Coming up next, we have the Know the Schefter question for the $50 Primo gift card. We have today's headlines with Connor Thomas, and we also welcome in for the remainder of the show 2 hours of the Checo. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Ricky Bo, Bill Colarulo.
Has Dave
The Sixers come in at number 7 in the Eastern Conference only preseason power rankings according to NBA.com.
Oh, yeah. Playoff team, baby. Well, play-in team.
Number 7.
Are you kidding?
Eastern Conference only. Not NBA. Eastern Conference only.
Oh, boy.
It is 8:12 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. But not just John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas and Connor Thomas for the remainder of the show. We bring in our man, my fellow football guy, Andrew the Checo. What's up, dude? Good morning.
What is happening, guys? Good morning.
I'm glad you survived the elements yesterday. It was hot out there.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, sweltering temperatures.
So I know Jalen Hurts had the incredible latest line in the Nike ad compilation that he has going where fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Stealing General Patton's line.
Was there anyone yesterday, before we get to today's headlines, that it looked like the fatigue got to any of the players?
Not really. I thought the Eagles did a nice job of trying to counter the temperatures, and they bumped practice up an hour, obviously,
Okay.
but there were some built-in breaks for water. And I just think that they really structured it in a way that they were trying to make sure that the players were safe and healthy while also having a practice that almost eclipsed 2 hours. It was an hour and 55 minutes.
Oh my God!
Did you hear the comments before the practice from Vic Fangio? I'm sure you were there.
Yeah.
Where he said about the comments about the heat. It's not hot. If you start making excuses today, we got hot games in September.
He was in a sweatsuit.
Do you think that was a message about last year in the Tampa game and hearing all the players commenting about how hot it was?
No, I really think it's all about the mentality because when you see your defensive coordinator dressed like that, you're almost sending a message that if I'm able to handle it, let's get after it.
Because that's dumb to dress like that, by the way.
Let's put the work in.
For Vic. That's dumb of him to dress like
Well, you never know what the objective is, but I mean, it was bold. I'll tell you that. It was really hot out there. But, I think it was more so just the mentality because they are going to have to play in some humid temperatures earlier in the season. And I think when you see him leading the way as an example and other coaches as well, it kind of sets the tone.
As Coach Boone once said to Blue Stanton,
Uh-oh.
a water break? Water is for cowards. Water makes you weak.
That I don't agree with.
Water is for washing blood off that uniform, and you don't get no blood on my uniform. You must be outside your mind. We are going to do up downs until Blue is no longer tired and thirsty.
Good coaching right there.
One of the best movies of all time. All right, it's time now for today's headlines
something.
with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
Brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name. Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. What do we got? We have an MLB investigation going on. Not a true one by the league, but one by fans. Because our old pal Whit Merrifield has his own podcast, just like every retired athlete does. the 6-inning stretch podcast.
Okay.
Spelled real
that's a
weird
name.
and everything.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. And bottom line is, he was talking about his time with the Braves because he went there after the Phillies. And there was an interesting pregame routine for one of the pitchers that was on his team.
Last year when I was with the Braves, one of the pitchers on the team last year, I won't say his name because I don't know if he'd like me sharing this, but before he pitches, we would go and there'd be like a group of like 5 or 6 of us that would go take a shot.
With Chris Sale?
I guess so.
You
yeah.
mean with Chris Sale?
That's what people are saying, is that Chris Sale's been taking
It's
shots
Chris
before
Sale.
games. Well, is this like common knowledge? You're saying it like this is a thing people know.
never
It's
heard.
Chris Sale is a very free spirit. Chris Sale, it
Free
doesn't,
spirit?
It doesn't shock me at all
Speaking
if
of
that's the
spirits.
case. It doesn't shock me at all if it's to hear that story and then to know the personality. I'm looking at their pitching staff and I'm going, it's not Max Fried. I know it's not Max Fried. So
Spencer Strider was doing squats before his outings.
Spencer was out
tight pants.
and Spencer was out for the majority of time.
So wait, when Chris Sale was pitching for the White Sox and ripped up the jerseys,
Chris Sale
was he just drunk? And he just
Chris Sale's a very free spirit guy. I believe it's a no-brainer that it's Chris Sale.
It reminds
First of all,
me of the NBA story. Who used to drink? Was it Hennessy in the locker room at halftime? It wasn't Gilbert Arenas, was it?
No, he was just trying to shoot people. I don't know.
But do you remember that story?
I remember a story like that.
Yeah.
I know there have been stories, I think former Eagles have talked about it when it's gotten too cold.
A little brandy. Was it brandy?
Like back early, like the Andy days. I'm
Well-
pretty sure I remember a story where a couple of the Eagles linemen were like, "It's cold out here. Let's
I
rip
can
a
tell you there's
shot
a
here."
statute of limitation on old Eagles. I got to hear some stories from some old generation Eagles. I may have interned for one of them, under one of them, and he would say how they would have a brandy snifter on the sideline where they would have brandy during
Yeah,
the
it was
game.
too cold.
Hey, go
it was
for
cold.
Let's go. Why not?
You know?
If Chris Sale's doing it, he's throwing pretty well.
I think it was Chris Sale because
National League Cy
also
Young, wild drunk.
young pitchers would not have the wide berth to
Good
be able to
point.
get away with that with the manager.
Yeah, because that
I would love it.
would get around
Yes.
real quick.
I would love it if A.J. Smith-Shawver was just like facing Patron.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
Like his first year in the league. Speaking of first years in the league and maybe not doing what's best for the team, we've got a little training camp update from down in Tampa Bay, where Desmond Watson has begun his training camp practices. Well, kind of. Did you see what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had him doing yesterday?
as they should.
He was walking around the practice field, walking laps with a heavy weighted vest on.
Yeah, he's like 450 pounds.
451, I think he
it's
weighed in
incredible.
at.
He was he was undrafted, so they're trying whatever they can to get him into shape, and I think that is a great idea for the Bucs. And if you're him, what else are you gonna do?
And he's going to be practice squad guy, right?
Yeah.
I think it's projected.
Yeah, I think you kind of develop him on the practice squad, work with him on getting
Yeah.
his weight down, and then you might have something because he does have some potential.
Yeah.
I think it's really good what they're doing.
Yeah.
As long as they keep it safe because the temperatures there
Right.
are pretty excruciating.
Right, you don't wanna kill the guy.
They got to obviously make sure they're taking the proper measures.
But
You know,
look, he's gonna be on a diet plan with a professional football team. Like this is good for him.
I'll ask the question to check it. Do you know what happened in Tampa the other day on Monday?
I do not.
They had their first 100-degree day ever.
Which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
Ever in Tampa history on Monday. First time it ever has hit 100 degrees in Tampa. That seems crazy, right?
Surprising, yeah.
Do you know the last time it hit 100 in Miami?
Yesterday?
1941.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get. People think it gets really hot in Florida. It gets hot. It's the humidity.
Right.
But it doesn't get to the temperatures it gets like in Atlanta and Texas and Dallas and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
it's the humidity that gets you.
No, it'll crush you.
All right, couple
I
things.
admire that kid, though. I admire the fact that he's going to.
Yeah, good for him.
And I
First of all,
admire that the
I
Bucs are
admire
doing
them,
it.
and I
Yeah.
admire that he's taking on the challenge.
He's committed. He's
Even if he doesn't
committed.
make the NFL team, they're putting him in better shape.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we
can't
don't
re-
fat shame
can't
on the
really-
show.
You can't really live a healthy
Get on
life
with
at
himself.
450.
Yeah.
All right. Adam Schefter is going to training camps with two people that he mentioned during the interview. If you get both of them right, you'll win the $50 Primo gift card. 610-206-0975. First person to get them right. 610-206-0975. Who are the two people that Adam Schefter are going to camps with? Speaking of training camp, we go into the DeCecco notebook coming up next. His observations from camp and the latest little nugget about the Phillies and the trade deadline that I just read from one of our local reporters. That comes right next. It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Another night, another Schwarber. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies took down the White Sox 6-3. Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings to earn the win on the mound. And, of course, Kyle Schwarber hit his 37th home run of the year. Why wouldn't he? He's got 12 in the month of July. Brandon Marsh also went yard in the win to help power a better offensive night for the Phils. They have Game 3 in Chicago at 2:10 p.m. today as they look to go for their third straight series win. Taijuan Walker faces Adrian Hauser in the pitching matchup, and we're also facing down the MLB trade deadline just a day away. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m., and the rumor mill is it's rolling, folks. We'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about big moves around baseball. Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday as training camp continues. Jalen Hurts met with the media after practice and talked about the development of the offense with new OC Kevin Patullo.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
We'll keep you updated on news out of camp. Today's campus practice is closed to media. Andrew DeCecco is with us for the entirety of the rest of the show. This update's brought to you by the local Ream Pro partners at thereamteam.com. When you want your home to feel like a dream, it has to be Ream. Stay cool with a high-efficiency AC system from Ream. That's RHEEM. Find your Ream Pro partner at thereamteam.com. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Andrew DeCecco, the Fanatics Birds Insider.
In case you don't know, Jalen Hurts is pretty damn good at what he does. He's an elite
But the latest update on the rumor mill surrounding the Phillies from Matt Gelb, covers the Phillies for The Athletic, does a tremendous job. Obviously, the closer / late inning reliever market has taken a hit with Clase and the investigation, Bautista being hurt. Who knows if the Twins actually make Duran available or not. So here, I'll just read you the blurb from the story. This has complicated things. The Phillies, according to Major League sources, have expressed interest in Pittsburgh Pirates closer David Bednar, who is under club control through 2026. However, they have balked at the current price. Now, remember, I told you the Pittsburgh reporter earlier today that was saying that the Pirates were looking for a top 5 prospect in return for Bednar. So Gelb continues saying that could mean the Phillies pivot to a rental, such as Cardinals closer Ryan Helsley. There's interest and a potential path to a deal between the two clubs. I'm not anti that trade.
I'm not anti-Helsley at all.
But that's the latest update.
Is Helsley the best arm in your bullpen if you get him?
Yeah, it's him and Kirker.
Yeah.
I think he's better than Kirker. I think he's more proven.
Slightly.
I think he's more proven than Kirker.
He's definitely more proven.
So to me, that's better. Not because he's got a better resume than Kirker.
Okay.
But to me, Helsley's I'm fine, and Helsley's cheaper.
Yeah, but if you want to say Bednar's not a closer, Helsley's probably not a closer.
Yeah. I'm just saying best arm.
No, I got
you. If that's what you got to give up, I don't think that's that bad because, again, if we're still talking about Gino at third base and getting that move, then that gives you the draft capital to be able to get the not draft capital.
Prospect capital.
I'm looking at Andrew DeCecco and I'm thinking draft capital.
Yeah.
And though you have the capital then to be able to then go all in to be able to get that bat that you want. And I honestly think I might be investing more in the right-hand bat. If I get Helsley and do that, I'm fine.
I said this to John yesterday during post-show headlines. Check it out on YouTube. Just search Kincade Salciunas post-show headlines. I'm curious, Andrew, I want your thoughts on this as well.
Sure.
Because you're a sportsman. What if it was the double bat and one bullpen arm? And I use Joe Adell as an example, the center fielder for the Angels, because he could be available, and Suarez, the third baseman. One's a rental. Suarez is going to be more expensive because there's a bidding war, but it's not going to be Andrew Painter. You're not giving up your number one prospect. What if you get Adell and Suarez? That's 2 right-handed bats, which this lineup needs balance.
Sorely.
One guy would, both of them are starters right away. Suarez would either be your third baseman or DH, depending on how they go about it. And Adell's your starting center fielder. Like, there's no, is it Marsh, Rojas, or even Crawford? Like, Adell gets that job. If you come out tomorrow at 6 o'clock and it's Helsley, but then those 2 bats, how are we feeling?
I think you feel pretty good about that. Look, we've seen this starting rotation, as exceptional as they've been all season. They are mortal. And I think when you're always surrendering like 4 runs, your offense should be able to play complementary baseball and help you out.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that on a consistent enough basis. And so I think they desperately need multiple bats to be able to add a different dynamic to the lineup.
Okay, Connor, would you do that? Because I know bullpen's this biggest need. We know that. But again, if the market dries up because of gambling and injuries and other extracurricular activities, do you pivot to the 2 bats? And you're still getting Helsley. It's not like you're not getting anyone.
I think you have to. You can't just be like, I thought the bullpen was more important, so I'm going to roll over and just like not do anything because I can't get my big bullpen arm. Like, no, you have to make interesting changes. And that brings us back to the Alcantara thing, too, or the Bieber thing, or something with a starting pitcher where you say, hey, can we sign a starter that seems to be projectable to the bullpen?
By the way, Passan, not long ago, just put out a story. It looks like the Cubbies would be most interested on Bieber.
Gotcha.
He's doing his rehab stints right now because he got hurt last year. That would be pretty dangerous. They would pay a pretty penny for him because losing James Steele earlier this year was a major loss for them because they're a good baseball team.
But yeah, if you're forced into that, you got to do something. The more important thing for Dave Dombrowski, I think, is figure out how much you're willing to spend in total and then figure out where those prospects go.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Andrew, let's get back to some football talk here. I don't want the updated camp battles because that's the next segment. I just want your overall notebook so far, things that have stood out to you through the first week and change of training.
Well, first and foremost, Quinyon Mitchell has looked tremendous. And he's working on both sides of the field, which I think coincides with what you heard from Vic Fangio about, they have the intent of having him travel with the opposition's top receiver this year when warranted. Mm-hmm. He's had some really good reps against A.J. Brown, especially in one-on-ones. It's much you have to watch it. I mean, and then you see a play that he made down the sideline with Devontae Smith where he was running in phase with him, broke up a pass. He's just playing with such confidence, and he's building off of that remarkable rookie season that he had. And I would also say that the linebacker situation has really caught my attention. I've written down number 54 in my notebook every single day.
That's cool.
And I think Jeremiah Trotter Jr. has done a really solid job in acquitting himself and making the most of his first team reps.
How much of a difference this year, last year with him? Because remember, people were saying, draft him in the first round
or third round or second round.
He goes in the fifth round, and we heard a lot about how young he looked last year. Mm-hmm. Is there a major difference this year?
I think so. His read and reacting is something that you can only get with reps and experience. And playing alongside Zach Bond, they've repped together in practice last year, and they're building that continuity in training camp through 5 practices. You're able to see his ability to read and diagnose. He flows to the football with urgency, and those are some of the hallmarks of his game, right? He doesn't have the athleticism or the size of a Jihad Campbell or a Zach Bond, but he makes up for it in different ways. And there was a play yesterday that really accentuated that, where he, on a corner route, broke up a pass to Dallas Goedert in the end zone, running stride for stride with him. I think he's had a really good camp.
You answered a question there with a name of a guy that I wanted to ask you about, because it's a position group that I think we never talk about as tight end. How's Dallas Goedert look? And more importantly to me is that we have any other talent at that position?
Well, he's looked sharp, and he's been a go-to target in the intermediate levels of the field for Jalen Hurts. Sometimes I think he's taken for granted a little bit, because when you see the way that he operates and he moves and his ability to use his body to shield defenders and the continuity and chemistry he has with Jalen Hurts, if he's able to string together a full season, a healthy season, he's going to make a huge impact on this team. And if training camp, 5 practices, are any indication of what's to come, I think he's going to be heavily involved in this offense.
What about the rest of the depth chart, though? Do we have anybody out? Because we know he's going to miss 4. I'm penciling in right now. He's going to miss 4 or 5 games.
Okay, well.
So what else do we have there?
I actually just wrote a story about this morning. That there are, you could argue that this is the deepest the Eagles tight end room has been in years.
Okay.
At least on paper. Grant Calcaterra is a very exceptional receiver. He's a willing blocker, but he doesn't really give you much in that area. But I think right now he's clearly the 2. Obviously, after one day of pads, there's a lot yet that needs to be resolved. But they also signed Harrison Bryant and Kylan Granson in free agency. Both have flashed at various points of their career. And I think they might have something to say about it, because I would say Granson is more of the versatile jack-of-all-trades player. He's built more like an H-back. And Bryant is more of the rangy pass-receiving tight end. And then they have E.J. Jenkins as well. So it's going to be something that you're going to want to keep an eye on throughout the summer.
Can I find that on your social media right now?
Yeah, it's there. I just posted it.
I'm going to check that out.
Check that out. I love that.
Look at that.
All right, coming up next, I wanted to save it for a whole segment within itself. Position battles. We have safety. We have cornerback 2. We have who you believe would get majority of snaps next to Jalen Carter. And what about linebacker? It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds Insider update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and the Birds survived the heat yesterday as they bumped up training camp due to excessive heat. They started practice an hour earlier. Today, training camp is closed to media, so we won't get anything out of today's practice. But yesterday, we heard from Jalen Hurts, who talked about the implementation of the offense with new offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo and how that's been going throughout camp.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
So clearly the offense not a finished product, but they're working on it and implementing and trying to figure out how everything is going to come together. Now the defense, they're led by a guy who, well, he was here last year and was pretty darn good at his job, and Vic Fangio. He met with media yesterday as well and talked about where this team is at, or at least his unit, through this part of camp compared to last year.
Obviously, a lot of them are doing better because even though we lost a lot of players on defense, there's still a lot of players that were here. So we're probably doing a little bit better in that mode.
So implementation on the offensive side, maybe doing better than the Super Bowl winning defense on the other side of the ball. That should be encouraging for Eagles fans. We'll keep you updated as training camp continues and the Birds push closer to their first preseason game, which will come your way in a couple weeks. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts.
Checo's here today.
He was talking about the guy that he's looking across from.
Yeah. That football guy.
Dude, I mean, seriously.
I mean, he's right there.
He is. We're glad to have him.
All right.
Jeez.
Let's start out at safety because we talked about it earlier. We had Jeff McClain on yesterday, and he basically said Makuba being hurt impacts his chance to win the battle. But maybe if they're not thrilled with what they got, they could go out and acquire somebody. But for just the conversation of the camp battle, who's in the lead right now, in your opinion? Is it really just the guy that's out in the field versus the guy that isn't on the field?
I think that's fair to say. That would be Sidney Brown right now. You're not seeing as much of Tristan McComb and Andre Sam working in with the first team, at least yesterday. But as far as Drew Makuba goes, I'm not there yet. We're not even in August, and we don't know the extent of the injury. It's a shoulder injury, but you don't have a timetable. We need to get more information before you sound the alarm. I thought Drew Makuba's had some nice moments. He's right there. He's sticky in coverage. Players have gotten the better of him. Sometimes they use their frame against them. But I think all things being equal, Drew Makuba being the second-round pick, having a versatile skill set and the ball skills makes the most sense and would be the ideal complement opposite Reed Blankenship.
Yeah.
But, I think right now they're still trying to find their way. They're trying to assess what they have, and this is meaningful snaps in time that he's missing. I'm not going to sort of just cast that aside. Nick Sirianni himself said that they're going to have to get creative with how they get him up to speed in the interim, meaning walkthroughs, film study, and mental reps. There's other ways you can do it. Obviously, you can't. It pales in comparison to getting the on-field reps, but it's something that they're going to have to keep an eye on and plan for.
We saw last year where the defensive coordinator didn't give a damn that Howie went out and spent the most money in free agency on a defensive end that he wasn't really even willing to play, and he didn't have any problem saying it. But do you think teams do, and this team specifically, does really care about that, hey, we have to give the draft pick the edge. We have to give the high draft pick the inside track.
If they earn it, I think it's one of those things where, one of those cases, John, where you hear they're light at defensive end or they're light at edge rusher going into camp. It's like, well, why don't you assess what you have first? And you've already invested years in developing some of these players in some cases. So see what you have first. If you're not getting what you envisioned, well, then you start to have those conversations. But I think it's way too premature to kind of go into it and saying they're light here, they're light there. I mean, on paper, perhaps, but you don't really know what you have. So you have to give them the opportunity to carve out a role.
All right, CB2, Adoree Jackson versus Keely Ringo. Your analysis, and then what did you make of the comments by Vic Fangio the other day about Adoree Jackson?
Well, he did say Adoree has had a very good day, I think was the language that he said.
Yeah.
I look, this is a battle that I expect to linger throughout the summer until one player sort of emerges and puts their stamp on that role. So for, I guess, day one, it was Keely Ringo rolling out with the first team. And keep in mind, both players have mixed in every practice with the first team. Then for 3 days, it was Adoree Jackson. Then yesterday, it was Keely Ringo, and Adoree also worked in as well. It's going to be a spirited battle. You have a third-year player in Keely Ringo. He has the body type, the athleticism, and they've worked with him for a couple of seasons now. They know him well. Then you have Adoree Jackson. I think there was a misconception when he arrived. Maybe if you listen to any of the folks who maybe covered the Giants or even Giants fans on social media, that he didn't have a lot left. Well, that's everything that we've seen through 5 practices suggests the contrary. He does have a little bit of urgency in the way that he moves, and he has some savviness. He doesn't have the size of a Ringo, but I think both players offer a skill set that is intriguing in their own way. So this is something that I'm expecting to kind of persist throughout the preseason.
With his athleticism, because I just remember him coming out of college, and I just always wondered what didn't get, for lack of a better word, unlocked with his game. Do you think this staff has the ability to maybe find something? What is he, 28?
He's 29. He'll be 30
29.
in September.
Okay. Do you think at that time there's some unlocked potential that can potentially be found?
I guess with this coaching staff, anything's possible because we've seen across the board, looking at it through the lens of defensive backs, John, they all made improvements. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, obviously getting up to speed and being able to make an impact in the way that they did. Reed Blankenship took a big step forward last year. When players like Tristan McCollum were thrust into service, I thought that they acquitted themselves well. So with this coaching staff, I think you might be able to unlock something. And he is a solid player. He's a veteran who's seen a lot in the NFL. He's played in 97 games, 82 starts, I think.
Durable guy, right?
And he's been durable, and I think there's something to be said on a young secondary. He brings some savviness.
All right, defensive tackle. Now, this is where it gets interesting because obviously majority of snaps next to Jalen Carter, I would imagine to be Jordan Davis. But we know that Jordan Davis has been off the field on sort of pass rush downs. Do you expect Jordan Davis to take that leap, which we've been expecting the last couple of years? I know how great he looks right now. Or is it going to be Moro Ojomo? Is it going to be Ty Robinson? Is it going to be Thomas Booker? How's that battle going right now?
Well, I'm somebody that I need to see something before I believe it.
Okay.
Right? So I think he's in fantastic shape, and that lends itself to him playing a more expanded role and having more of a workload. But I think you either have it in you or you don't in terms of pass rush ability. That's not to say that he's not going to affect the pocket, move quarterbacks off their spot, because those are certain things that are invaluable to a defense. Pressure up the middle really forces quarterbacks off their spot. They have to hasten their reads, and that's something that I can see Jordan Davis doing. However, to answer your question, Andrew, I think that Moro Ojomo is going to be the player who really steps up.
Okay.
There's no coincidence that for now going into his second summer, well, he's been with the Eagles for 3 years, but last summer he was very disruptive every practice, and I'm seeing notable plays. Number 97 keeps showing up in the notebook, providing pressure of whoever he's going up against. And he has such violent hands and short area quickness and an ability to give you some juice along the interior. So he's the guy that I'm looking at to really make that leap.
Watched Jordan Davis all through college, and I kept wondering why people were thinking he was going to be this force in pass rush, because I didn't see that as ever being his role. I worry about the weight loss, because though that may give him more ability to stay on the field more, maybe be in better shape, have that better, ability to be there. I wonder if it's going to take away from his core, what his core has always been. What that's always been.
He's 330.
I know.
He's still strong, and again, even if you don't come up with the sacks, pushing the pocket and affecting the quarterback in another way is still valuable, and I think he can do that.
Okay.
All right, coming up next, we'll talk more about this
330.
safety.
When you say that.
We'll talk more about the safety position and if maybe the answer is on the outside. Also, one position we didn't get to, linebacker. Is Jihad Campbell making the return for Nakobe Dean a little bit more difficult? We'll ask Andrew DeCecco that coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Bills take an easy win. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Phillies had a nice, comfortable W over the White Sox yesterday. 6-3 the final, but those 3 runs all given up in the 9th inning by Daniel Robert out of the bullpen. Jesus Luzardo battled through 7 scoreless innings in the start to earn the win. Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh also went yard in the win to help power a better offensive night for the Phils, so a good bounce back by them, and now they have a chance in Game 3 to win their 3rd straight series. It's 2:10 p.m. today up in Chicago against the White Sox again. Taijuan Walker faces Adrian Hauser in the pitching matchup. Also, we're just 1 day away from the MLB trade deadline. It's tomorrow at 6 p.m. The rumor mill's rolling, folks. We will keep you updated what we've been hearing. All the big moves around baseball, including the ones that include the Phils. The Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday. Training camp continues at the NovaCare Complex. Jalen Hurts, well, he talked about the heat, but more importantly, he talked about the implementation of the new offense.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
So there will be some changes and some similarities. We'll see how that plays out as the Eagles continue through camp. Andrew DeCecco stays with us for the remainder of the show. I'm Connor Thomas on the home of the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Philadelphia Sports.
Touchdown! Saquon Barkley into the second deck.
Andrew DeCecco with us for the remainder of the show today. Talking a lot of Eagles. Obviously, Philly stuff on the table as well. At 9 o'clock, we'll get to a couple of text messages because I know a lot of people have been chiming in about the Phillies and whether or not they have a line that is considered dangerous, like you were saying earlier this morning, Johnny, that maybe Dave Dombrowski feels the heat. Maybe Dave Dombrowski goes, what do I have to lose? Let me go all in. And there might be a line for people. You know me. Buy. I want it. Get me every single player that's available. All right, linebacker. So Jahad Campbell, by all reports, and I would love to hear your analysis, is exploding on the scene. Everybody is fascinated by his ability. How does he stand next to a guy like Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who you've been impressed with so far in camp? And what does this mean for Nakobe Dean, who's still battling, trying to return from his horrible injury that he sustained last year?
Yeah, so Jahad Campbell's definitely ahead of schedule. And he's an active player, and you see the length and the ability to move sideline to sideline.
Yeah.
I mean, players of his size don't typically move like that. So he's kind of built like the new age NFL linebacker. So from what we've seen thus far, I think you have to be pretty intrigued, and especially in coverage and operating in space. Now, I like that he plays with an edge. So on Monday, there was a play during, I think it might have been red zone, where he storms through and he tries to dislodge the ball from Tanner McKee. And then yesterday, he reads a pass, a crosser to Dallas Goedert perfectly, and then sort of takes him down after the play accidentally, and he apologizes and helps him up and all that. But you like to see a rookie like that that's unfazed, right? They're ready for the moment. And I don't think that you can throw anything at him that he isn't necessarily prepared for or at least willing to attack. Seems to be processing things quickly. And I think he's flashed. But in terms of what that means for Nakobe Dean, it's too early to say because you don't know what the timetable exactly is going to be. And obviously Trotter Jr. complicates things because he's had a good camp. Nakobe is a prominent leader on this football team.
Right.
I looked at it as him being the heartbeat of that defense. They embodied his mentality and his DNA in terms of being physical and setting the tone. So he's going to have a role if he's able to get back on the field in a relatively timely manner this season. So I think that's kind of a good problem to have. You can find different roles for different players. Nakobe's more of a downhill thumper in the run game, and with somebody that impactful in terms of how their voice resonates, you would think that you would have to find a role for him.
Okay.
Got to wonder too. I guess that how quickly he returns. Then it's too quick to look ahead to next year. But he's playing for a contract. This year is based on what are they going to do moving forward, and you want to be able to keep him around. The whole. We're not looking towards yesterday we did a part of the show. I don't know if you got to hear any of it when you were going in, where Nick Sirianni had said on Monday's press conference, nothing that we've done in the past is going to influence what we do this year. What do you think about that? Because, I mean, it's like that to me is so ridiculous in sounding, but then you think about wanting to wipe the slate clean, almost like Will Smith's got the red pen, got the pen, he's shooting it in your eye. How do you draw the balance between wanting to turn the page, but wanting to learn the lessons? Because there were a lot of mistakes made last year that hopefully you learned from.
Yeah, it's interesting, John, because they don't want to rest on their laurels. They want to constantly be present, of course, but also try to continue to what's next. How can we get better? How can we improve? Last year was last year. We need to kind of not necessarily reinvent themselves, but also just take that step forward because teams catch up. It's a copycat league, and that's really the sentiment for me. That's how I perceive that comment, that they're not going to rest on their laurels and they're going to continue to find ways to accentuate and really confirm what they do in terms of core values, in terms of how they operate offensively and defensively. There are some pillars that I think you're going to see that are going to be maintained. But that's just kind of how I perceive that. I didn't read too much into it.
All right, one more thing before we get to some Phillies text. Jeff McClain told us yesterday that he wouldn't rule out that the Eagles sort of look beyond for safety help. We asked Adam Schefter about Justin Simmons, who's still available. We know that he's a Vic Fangio guy. or how he could make a trade for a veteran safety at some point. Likelihood that the starting safety's not on this roster next to Reed Blankenship.
Normally, I don't do percentages. I think it's too early. I just think it's too early. I think it's too early to suggest otherwise. You have to give the players who are in that room an opportunity. You heard what Vic Fangio said yesterday about Sidney Brown. He seemed optimistic about the strides that he's making. We don't know the timeline for Drew Makuba. They drafted him in the second round, for crying out loud. So give him the opportunity once he gets back to health. And I mean, you have to just let it play out. I don't know that we're not even in August yet. I mentioned that earlier. I don't know that you can make any drastic decisions.
How do you balance, like, we're all talking about repeating, trying to get back, right?
Well, they're not, but we are.
I know they're not. Yeah, they refuse to say. It's a banned word in NovaCare. If the Eagles go, hey, yeah, we really like Drew Makuba, second-round pick. There's a reason why we use that capital. We think he can grow into something. But right now, Justin Simmons is the better option. Would you put it past the Eagles thinking that way?
How can you know if Justin Simmons is the better option when Drew Makuba's only practiced a handful of times? I mean, you've seen what he's been able to do in the spring, but there's not enough information to reach that determination. I just think that if your offseason goal has been to secure the young nucleus and build the team for sustained success, that would be a drastic measure. I think you only go that route, Andrew, if you're certain that he's an upgrade, and I don't know that you can make that determination just yet.
Okay, fair enough. You're listening to 97.5 The Fanatic, WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities. This is why a football guy.
When will we get an indication? Last camp, I was literally picking apart every single little thing that I was reading from you, that I was hearing from all the different analysts that were watching practices and everything about what I was seeing out of the offense under Kellen Moore. When will we start to see how different this offense is going to look, how far into camp, and do you think we're going to see it in any of the game situations at all?
I really don't think you're truly going to see the effects of the Kevin Patullo offense until week 1 of the regular season. Preseason, obviously, it's very vanilla. Training camp, it's not always the greatest indicator of what you're going to expect. And to expand on that, last summer, really the summer before when they had DeAndre Swift, you saw a lot of passes to the running backs. Kenny Gainwell had some good showings last summer, so did Will Shipley, but it never quite materialized during the regular season. I saw a lot of passes between the numbers. I've seen it this camp, and I saw it last summer. You didn't necessarily see that manifest during the regular season. So you have to always take what you see with a grain of salt and be careful with coming up with determinations, but I do think you're going to see some new wrinkles. I do think that you're going to see an offense that is more balanced this year. That's just going off of an assumption based off the information that we have from hearing from Patullo and Jalen and different offensive figures. But to answer your question, John, I don't think until week 1 will you really have a good gauge or a decent enough gauge as to what this offense is going to look like.
Okay, gut instinct. If you even thought in your head, the gut instinct is, I'm going to see something that's going to be incredibly apparent to the naked eye or something that's going to be much more subtle?
I think you're going to see something that's going to be apparent to the naked eye.
Okay, good.
Maybe it's pushing the ball downfield a little bit more. Maybe it's midfield utilization with Dallas Goedert and Jahan Dotson. Maybe it's more balanced offensively in terms of how they dole out the snaps out of the backfield with a Will Shipley and working A.J. Dillon and having roles for both players to preserve Saquon Barkley, for lack of a better term, for the stretch. I think that you're going to see some certain things that will be tangible.
Okay. What do we got on the text line, Connor, about the Phillies? I just saw a really interesting tweet regarding a stat that would go to the Luis Robert Jr. people side of things, which I'll give you in a little bit, but I want to get to the text messages first. Your audible groan's amazing. What do we got?
So we have a texter here, no name on this one, but their last 3 or 4 texts have been about this player. And they say they're looking for a closer or a bullpen arm. Why not throw Jose Alvarado in the mix? Get rid of him. He's useless to you. Maybe you can get somebody that's good from another team that's not a playoff team. I don't know, just my opinion.
He's not back till August 20th.
So a couple of things. First off, he's a free agent after this year. So why would anybody... No?
No, next year.
Next year?
I believe they have him next year. They have an option. I think they had I thought they
All
had
right.
a club option.
But we'll see if they pick that up.
Well,
or
the
not
team that would
because
be
of the-
getting him would then have a club option to keep him. But then again, you're getting a cheater.
Yeah, that's
so
the
I don't
thing.
know that
like,
you want him.
Well,
I don't know that you want a guy
why would you
who's
want that? Yeah,
like you're getting a guy you can't count on.
especially if you're a seller.
Yeah.
Like if you're a seller, you're trying to
club
rebuild.
club option $9 million for next year, which is very affordable. $9 million.
I
That's a
don't.
great club option.
It is a great club option.
But nobody's gonna.
But if you're a seller,
you're a
why would
seller,
you bring
why
in
do
a
you
guy
want him?
who
Yeah,
has
exactly.
a PED suspension?
Right.
Like that's not good.
He screwed himself. Plus, I don't think the Phillies want to. I think the Phillies are counting on him to help get them past the Mets.
Final year of a running back, brother.
Yeah, and they're gonna. I hope they pitch him till his cheating arm falls off.
Yeah, they're gonna use him like a final year of a running back.
Yep. Like 2 inning saves, whatever it takes.
Whatever it
2
takes.
inning, 4 inning saves.
Seriously,
With this bullpen, why not? What
he'll be
else?
sweating honey mustard.
What else we got?
Todd checks in, who's a Pirates fan, says a top 5 prospect for Bednar is nuts. He was trashed most of the year and was even sent down to figure things out.
Yeah,
I would
I
not
mean-
do it.
Yeah, that is nuts.
Yeah, you can't. Well, that's why it said it's like top 5 be like the edge. That's about the edge. Not going higher than that. He's not a guy that's. He's not a closer. He's not, even though but he isn't, because he's a Pirate. He's not.
What the hell does that mean?
Because if he's
He has ninth inning experience where he doesn't crap himself.
He has some ninth inning experience, yes, but he's not.
He
pitching,
led the league in saves 3 years ago, John. With the Pirates.
But he's not pitching for a team that he's pitching for anything.
You're pitching, John. That doesn't apply to closers. I'll just tell you this right now: when you're pitching in the 9th inning of a major league game and they play competitive teams too. When you're pitching in those scenarios, that's high leverage, whether your team's good or bad.
I think that's something I would love to ask Ricky about.
Okay.
If it matters when you're pitching for a team that's 30 games out, or whether you're pitching for a team that is tied for first, whether the 9th inning means the same. I would be shocked if Ricky told us. But if he'd said yes, I'll believe Ricky. I don't believe that's the case.
By the way, he's been trashed for most of the year. All right, sure, he had a slow start. So he allowed an earned run 2 days ago. That was the first time he allowed an earned run since May 23rd.
They did send him down, though, didn't they? I thought they did.
It doesn't look like it.
I thought they did have a scent.
Maybe they did.
I thought they did have a scent where he had to.
Maybe it was last year, because last year he had a bad year.
Yeah, last year was
But
not
that's
good.
relievers.
Yeah, exactly.
You
That
know?
can be a bad
That's how
year.
it goes, yeah.
They can be a bad year, and then boom. Next year, they can be lights out.
Since May 24th, David Bednar has pitched in 23rd and a third innings. He's made 24 appearances, and his ERA is .39. It's pretty good.
Sounds pretty damn good to me.
Pretty good. All right, coming up next. Do the Luis Robert Jr. people have something that they can turn to say, this is why I would make the trade? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We want to hear from you. So text us at 610-632- quick on YouTube off of this Bednar conversation. So Money Mar checks in. Romano was allegedly a closer too. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. Romano's also coming off of a major injury.
He is. He was a gamble.
Yeah,
he was
a gamble. A bad gamble.
But no. By the way, though, is that there were people that loved that signing.
Yeah. So just because he's having a bad year doesn't mean, oh, he was a closer on a bad baseball team. He's coming off of a major injury. Now, I'm still disappointed that Dombrowski thought this is the answer. Let's move on from Estevez and Hoffman and let's bring in this guy. That's a major risk.
I asked Ricky to check in, so Ricky will hopefully get back to me here. I said, and just to say, unlike one of Connor's polls questions, here is how I worded it. We need your expert analysis. Is closing games for a last-place team the same as closing games for a first-place team? That is how I worded it. So that way there's no bias. There's no, hey, can I skew the question?
Why did Connor catch a stray with the poll?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, sometimes Connor's poll questions were
First
a little
off, in
skewed.
356 shows, I think we've done 5 Twitter polls.
And none of them have been initiated by me. They've been you two arguing in there.
Well, sometimes a little skewed.
All right, I have some ammo for the Luis Robert Jr. people. I know Bill
What's he hitting,
Colarulo's
202 now?
I know Bill Colarulo's all about it.
I have
where
no
do you
idea.
stand, Andrew? Because you've been doing shows with Bill. I know that he's really in on the Luis Robert Jr.
I wouldn't say I'm really in on it, but it would be hypocritical of me to. I sat there yesterday and I said that I would have done it or that I would do it because they have to add something. They have to add some optionality, if some variety to the lineup, even though his numbers have been abysmal.
What would you do it for when you were having that conversation? I didn't hear that part of the show. What did you say you would be willing to do it for? Are you talking about like a low-level prospect? Are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not talking about giving up anything of significance. Not at all.
Well, then that's different.
That would be foolish.
Yeah, that's different. Okay, cool.
The thing is, this White Sox team, I mean, bad organizations are bad organizations. This was from Ken Rosenthal yesterday. The White Sox believe they would look ridiculous accepting a mid-tier prospect for Luis Robert Jr. and are saying if they don't land at least one of an acquiring organization's top 10 prospects in a deal, they will keep Robert and pick up his $20 million club option. Why? Like the guy's been bad over the last couple of years.
Keep doubling down on stupid?
Right, and then they have a club option. They could be out. They could just say, hey, it's not working out. Let's move on. Like, if he stinks now and stunk last year, what makes you, the White Sox, think he's going to be better next year? Now, I would make a trade for a mid-tier prospect, right?
Right, somebody that we don't. If you tell me the prospect that goes to Chicago does not, I don't know them.
He's a 15th ranked prospect.
I don't know the guy. I have to Google him. I am totally in on it.
Yeah, to take a flyer. But they're like, no, we need a top 10, and if you don't, we're going to hold him hostage.
Well, then
Why?
you're done.
You're a dumb organization. But there's some ammo. If you allow it. So Bob Nightingale, USA Today, does a great job covering Major League Baseball. He just put out Andrew Vaughn's statistics in 15 games with the Brewers. His previous team was the Chicago White Sox. And if you look at Andrew Vaughn's career, Vaughn had been with the White Sox for 4 full seasons. Last year, the historically bad season. This year, batted .189 in 193 plate appearances, 48 games. Whereas in previous seasons, he was a 250, 260 hitter, double-digit home runs. Like, it's not like he stunk, right? He actually has had a better career than Luis Robert Jr. So this year, in those 193 plate appearances, he batted .189 with 5 home runs and 19 ribbies. In 15 games with the Brewers, he's batting .375, 5 home runs, so equal amount, 21 ribbies, 2 more in just 56 plate appearances. That's the ammo for the person that says change of scenery might help.
Well, the one thing is I keep hearing it from people who are saying, well, this is a guy who just, he's been on a bad team, and that's why he isn't playing as well, because he's been with this crappy organization. Do you ever think that, like, when you're with a crappy organization sometimes and you're supposed to be one of their most talented players, that you show out? That would be like saying, by the same mentality, we would be saying that, Paul Skeens sucks. Paul Skeens should be a better pitcher because he's playing with a crappy organization. No, usually these players show out, and then they get out of town.
Sometimes you get caught in the malaise.
Exhaustion.
How long?
Yeah.
For 4 years, though? For 3 years?
I mean, sometimes you need to be removed from that environment, and sometimes a change of scenery helps. But I guess, when it's been that long of a sample size, it's kind of...
So Luis Robert Jr. was great in 23. Batted .264, had 38 home runs, 36 doubles, blah, blah, blah. Last year was when all the trade talk starts, and he was horrible. Could there be an exhaustion when he wakes up day one of spring training in 2025? Damn, I'm still with the White Sox.
You know what I'd say? Then that's a mentally weak player that I don't want on my team. That's a mentally weak individual.
But what if he shows up to the Phillies? And look, I'm not sitting here saying go get Robert Jr.
I'm saying that's a bad professional.
But what if he shows up to the Phillies? He's like, all right, now it's time to kick it up a notch, and then he's the player you had in 2023. You could say mentally fragile player all you want, but what if he goes to the Mets and he's, rejuvenated, and is all of a sudden the hitter that we saw just 2 years ago?
I'm going to say the paycheck didn't motivate you. Being a professional athlete didn't motivate you.
But the reality to what Andrew's saying is that sometimes when you're in a winning atmosphere, it sort of gives you a boost. It refreshes you, and it gives you a different perspective.
I got you. And if you were talking about a guy goes into a malaise for a couple months, I totally buy it.
Right.
Seasons,
use this,
seasons at a time.
Let's use this job for an example. Like, I come into work in a great mood because I do enjoy work. But everybody, like John and I, get in arguments on the air. I love working with John.
No, we have a lot of fun.
I love working with John. And I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart. Like, I
breaking
really enjoy.
news.
Yeah, this is the station for breaking news, by the way. Like, I feel a certain type of way being able to work with you. We've all worked with people where it's like after a while you're like,
it can be a drag.
It can be a drag, and
but you have to be a professional, and you have to drag your backside out of bed and say, it's a drag.
But there may be some days where you don't have it.
No, there may be some days where you don't, but it can't be years of it.
Right. You should.
I agree with you there, John.
You should do this. But here's the thing. We're not trying to win a work ethic competition. We're not trying to get the best show up to the field every day 4 hours ahead of time. If you could get a guy at this deadline that shows up 20 minutes ahead of the game, but is going to mash for your baseball team from the right side of the plate, that might be good enough. Like,
counting on him to mash, though.
No, and that's why Luis Robert is not the guy. I'm just saying.
But you would take him for what Andrew proposed, right?
Yeah,
just a
mid-tier prospect.
Yes,
for him, I'd jump for it
because I'm not too worried about like what type of teammate he's going to be. He's going to be here for 3 months, right? And then anything past that, whatever. If you win the World Series, is gravy. If you don't, this team implodes anyway because they're trading everybody and not signing people. So the whole is he a good teammate, is he a good pro thing, to me doesn't carry as much weight.
Okay, fair enough. And before people read into things, because I already knew that was coming, I already saw it on YouTube. No, that's not who I'm talking about. Is that a shot at Cuz? No.
Obviously, it was about me.
It was about Connor.
It's about Connor, but look, we work things out behind the scenes.
Yeah. No, it's
a locker box, you Salciunas.
I love how people. It's about Ray Dunn.
Well, no, that is about Ray Dunn. No, that's with Ray. Ray's getting harassed by our man Bill Colarulo. I mean, Bill Colarulo's bullying Ray Dunn a little bit.
Could be
and
fighting
Ray,
words.
Ray is like, Ray's undaunted.
By the way, I would take.
But look, Bill's unfiltered. Ray's undaunted.
I would take Ray. I would take Ray in that series.
I'm conflicted here because Ray's my guy, but Billy C's also a dear friend.
I'll tell you this though, Ray's scrappy as hell. Bill I admire it.
Bill just has the show me muscles. Ray's got the wiry.
Ray's scrappy as hell in attitude and everything.
I'm going Bill. I love you, Ray, but
Ray will get grimy if it comes down to it.
Coming up next, as we continue to talk about football conversations in the summer, I found a ranking that I believe we will all laugh at. And it's my latest battle between me and the computer system at ESPN. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatics.
Game 1 in Chicago, but last night a nice bounce-back performance. They went 6-3 over the White Sox. Only reason it was as close as it was Daniel Robert giving up 3 runs out of the bullpen. Yeah, rough from him. But Jesus Luzardo, 7 scoreless on the mound. He struggled with points, but he looked pretty darn good overall. Kyle Schwarber and Brandon Marsh also went yard in the wind to help power a better offensive night. Phillies have Game 3 in Chicago at 2:10 p.m. today as they look for their 3rd straight series win. Taijuan Walker faces Adrian Hauser. And they also have the trade deadline tomorrow at 6 p.m. We haven't seen any moves yet for the Phillies besides the signing of Davey Robertson a couple weeks ago, but we'll keep you updated on everything we're hearing about the big moves around baseball. The Eagles had a hot day of practice yesterday. Jalen Hurts, well, he's also talking about the toughness of implementing a new offense and how Kevin Patullo has gone about that.
When you're implementing new philosophical bases in a system, it's important to go out there, get reps in it. Right now, we're in a time where we're just making things our own, being different in some areas, also just getting good reps so we can have something to learn from.
So a balance of doing some of the things you did well and changing a couple things up. Sounds like a solid strategy. Andrew DeCecco remains with us for the remainder of the show. This update's brought to you by Extreme Experience. They bring real supercar driving to New Jersey Motorsports Park August 14th through 17th. No experience needed. Book now at extremeexperience.com. That's Extreme Experience, both with Next. Space is limited. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
Texting, the easiest and most convenient way to communicate.
It's Kincade Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco with us for the remainder of the show. What else has stood out? There's an article that I want to read to you guys, or the latest ranking that I want to read to you guys coming up. But give me some other observations from training camp that you've caught so far that we haven't discussed so far this morning.
Yeah, so yesterday I thought Will Shipley, the Eagles' second-year running back, had a strong showing. He caught a flurry of passes out of the backfield. He was pretty much a safety valve for Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee. had a nice reception along the sideline with Jahad Campbell in coverage, scored on a Texas route. That was Jalen Hurts' touchdown pass yesterday. Texas. So I think when you look at Will Shipley, it kind of support, and you see the way that he was maneuvering yesterday, it really supports what I've been saying this whole offseason, and that is that he offers a different dimension to this offense if utilized properly or to his full capacity, because he's the Eagles' most natural pass receiving back. He also, when he gets the ball in space, there's not a lot of wasted movement. He gets right upfield, and I think you see the dynamic qualities that he can bring. And he, in game, at least, he would be the ideal complement to Saquon Barkley because they have differing skill sets, and now you force defenses to perhaps play you a little bit differently. I think Will's going to have a really nice 2025 season.
Okay. All right.
I like that. Yo, real quick, by the way, this is way out of left field, but when you said Texas route, because you kind of said it under your breath there too, I think that's one of those like football buzzwords.
Yes, it is.
That if you're like football guys hear Texas route, and it's just like, oh,
dude, say it again.
Dude, let's go. It's like walk to a dog.
That is it. Yeah, that's a little inside.
Andy, can you just say Texas route again?
Texas route.
Hell yeah.
I love it when you dropped talk about Moro Jomo. Violent hands is like a go-to.
I think the fans. Stop it. Yeah, but I think the fans go in their head, understand that one more.
Yeah.
You can visualize it.
No, I don't know that I understand any of it, but I like
Texas route, no.
Good bend for the edge rusher. Good
Haley,
hips
take the YouTube
for
camera off
corners.
me. I'm about to start sweating back here.
I like Moro Jomo because he does play with such controlled violence.
Yeah, it's controlled
I love controlled violence. Love that term.
You guys want to do Oklahoma drills in the hallway?
I think I would just win that one. So you might want to just sit that one out.
I think you'd be.
I want to sit that one out.
You wouldn't be going to Ibiza, and you'd be walking like Mike Missanelli was walking the last few days.
Yeah, you don't want to go that.
We'll just press fast forward
maybe
on
the
that
other
one.
place.
All right, so ESPN, my latest battle with the computer system at ESPN. Aaron Schatz did the NFL team talent under 25. What?
What's so funny, John?
Nothing.
Share it with
If his last
pronounced
name was Schatz, I'd
the way
say
you
Schatz,
pronounced it.
But it's Alan Schatz.
The way you pronounced it, it's just funny. Go on.
That's his last name.
That's his last name.
Share it with the room about what you find to be so
There's a guy
amusing.
in Major League Baseball named like Dick Lovelady or something. Like, what are you going to laugh at him too, John?
Yeah,
Probably
come on,
would.
John.
I didn't know that. I would laugh.
So ESPN, it's their NFL team talent under 25 list. They
Okay.
ranked each team. So their methodology, there is reasons to their madness. Number of starts made by players under 25 years old, number of snaps, quality of play by players. So they have, did they make the Pro Bowl? Were they in consideration? All pros, rookie of the year stuff, you name it. Value of their contracts, relative importance of positions, draft value, starters, you name it.
Okay,
all
so
kinds of stuff.
they're very in depth.
And also that DVOA, which is like the new, you say buzzword for football guys, that's the buzzword for analytic nerds.
I was going to say, I couldn't care less about DVOA or any of that.
All right. Teams with players under the age of 25. Number one, they have the Houston Texans.
I like their roster.
Their defense is so good, and I'm very excited to watch them this year. It's just whether or not that offense can take the next step. Seahawks at 2. Commanders at 3. Their roster's old as hell, but okay. Giants are at 4. Bears are at 5. Lions are at 6. Patriots are at 7. The Jags at 8. The Titans at 9. The Chargers at 10. I have not gotten to the Eagles yet.
Wow.
And I wouldn't get to the Eagles until number 14.
Okay, that's a little, that's spicy.
Players under the age of 25 that are on this Eagles team. Nolan Smith, Jalen Carter, Jalix Hunt. Members of the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles that had legitimate impacts. Am I missing something here? Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jahad Campbell, who I know we haven't seen yet, but part of this is also speculation. Am I missing something?
Well, first of all, I'm not a big list guy at all.
I know you're not.
I think they're silly in many respects. But, yeah, I mean, I crumple that whole thing up because what I see and what that is telling you, I mean, totally different things. I see a football team. There's no context there. I look at what I see on the football field, and that's an offense that's high-powered and ready to go. And I look at a defense with a lot of young pieces overseen by Vic Fangio and perhaps one of the better assistant group of coaches that you can find across the league that are, obviously very involved with development. So I just look at that, and I have a different opinion.
Now, they said they would rank higher if they had more youth on the offensive side of the ball because it is really one-sided in terms of the youth. Let me ask you, Anais Smith and Johnny Wilson, 2 draft picks from just 2 drafts ago, how are they doing in terms of growing? Because we saw Johnny Wilson play last year. Not well. We saw him play. Anais Smith was hurt majority of the season. How are those 2 guys doing?
Yeah, man, great question. So I look at I think between the 2, I've seen a little bit more from Anais Smith this year.
Okay.
And neither player has particularly flashed, but I think Anais has had some nice moments in one-on-ones. Short area quickness, separates at the top of his route. He had a couple of good reps against Cooper DeJean for perspective. And he's been getting some, when you look at players who are out, Devontae Smith, and that's a big one. You've seen Anais Smith elevate to the first team and get a smattering of reps. And I think that you see a player who's building on confidence. And when I talked to him last year, and he didn't have a great camp last year, but that injury that he missed part of his rookie campaign, that gave him a unique perspective. The game slowed down a little bit. He was able to kind of build some confidence off of that. And the way that he's running routes, the way that he's operating, suggests to me that this is a second-year player who definitely things are starting to fall into place for him.
Okay, and I have another question for you. Because speaking of Anais Smith, what's the return game looking like? Because last year, Covey was still in the plans.
Mm-hmm.
Did he ever end up playing last year?
Covey?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got hurt. He hurt his neck
hurt.
in the Baltimore game.
Okay. Because DeJean, and we know that Vic isn't in love with the idea of Cooper DeJean returning punts.
I don't think
we've seen Devontae do it. What's the plans for the Eagles in the return game? Because Kenny G's gone too.
Yeah, this is fascinating because this is one of the elements this camp that I've been noting every single day. Anais has been repping pretty frequently with the returners.
Okay.
Obviously, if he's able to showcase that he can provide value there, then you can make a case for him elbowing his way towards a roster spot because then you see the game day value.
Yeah.
If you're a reserve slot receiver, it's really difficult to be stashed, at least in my estimation, on the back of a roster when the spots are they're at such a premium. If you can provide value in the return game, well, then there you go. And I do think he has developmental qualities, but on a roster this loaded, where spots are at a premium, he's going to have to give you some more of a multifaceted skill set.
Do you find, just from your, first of all, I've never gotten to see your notebook. I've asked to see the pictures of this year's notebook.
I've been a little busy.
Confidential.
I'm just trying to see I just want to see the book itself. Just want to look at it. Is it easier to fill a notebook? Is it easier to have story ideas when you're covering a Super Bowl champion or where you're covering a team that was coming off of a very disappointing 2023?
That's a good question. I think, my job is to always find stories.
Sure.
But I look at each season with unique challenges and unique storylines. Because coming off 23, you want to see how the dynamic is with Jalen Hurts and Kellen Moore, and you want to see how the camaraderie and how the culture is coming off of a unprecedented skid. So those stories, they go without saying. They almost write themselves. But going into this season, it's about seeing how the young players gel with the veteran players and how they really take to the coaching of Vic Fangio and how quickly they're able to really formulate a plan on the defensive side. Which young players are going to take a step forward? How is their progress going to translate onto the practice field? And can they take on a sizable role? On offense, again, Kevin Patullo. So I just think that there's stories and intrigue on coming off both seasons for different reasons.
I would think the answers are
What would you prefer?
I prefer this.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I would imagine, to me, I would think that it was harder. This is a harder camp.
And that's why I prefer this, because it's more of a challenge. You have to really explore all angles and find the best approach for stories. They're there, but it's my job, it's our job to share those stories.
Like, for your job, I think it wouldn't matter the year. For our job, like drama sells. Like we know it. Like people, there's, oh man, you like it when they lose. Like no, we don't like it when they lose. But yeah, is there more buzz after a loss than after a win? That does happen, and then the rest of the week it trails off because nobody wants to hear complaining for 5 days. But for your job, I would imagine it doesn't really matter.
No.
You'll find the story.
Oh, he'll find the story.
The only thing I'm concerned with is giving the comprehensive analysis and giving the audience, my listenership, my readership, the most responsible coverage in the city. That's all I can.
I think you deliver.
That's why we love your work.
I think
man.
you deliver.
By the way, Schwarber is back officially in the lineup for the Diamondbacks today. He'll be DHing.
A lot of afternoon baseball today. Lots of it. And since a lot of teams don't play tomorrow.
It's deadline day tomorrow.
I have a feeling there might be some deals tonight.
Hug watch.
We may get some tonight.
Yeah, maybe.
Or butt grab watch.
All right, coming up next, we'll get our text messages. We got the Key 3 and more DeCecco here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Previously on Unfiltered.
It's 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor, it's a damn shame that John doesn't care what we say about baseball because he can always text Ricky Bo.
Well, you're always saying that you're trying to tell me football guy, and then so baseball guys. I wanted to get one from a real baseball closer.
I just see. Yesterday we were talking about Zach Wheeler, Andrew, and he said, "Well, Ricky's worried about him, so I'm worried about him." I'm like, well, I'm not worried about him. And then he said, well, I value Ricky's opinion more. I go, then what's the point of me doing this show?
I value your opinions, but I'm going to value Ricky's a little bit more when he's talking about Major League Baseball pitching. On the hierarchy of opinions, his opinion means a little more.
Or you could formulate your own.
I do, but I'd like to do research and take a lot of people that are educated into adjustment.
Fair.
Ricky Batalico, I asked the question. We need your expert analysis. Is closing games for a last place team the same as closing games for a first place team? He says you're going to get the adrenaline rush, but it's much more personal when you're with that first place team.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's going to be much more. You're talking about so it's not comparable.
That's exactly the point that I was making, though. Like, if you're out there and you're pitching for the Pirates and you're in a one-run game, obviously it's not the same thing as in a game for a team in contention. But if Aaron Judge is at the dish, it's Aaron Judge. You're trying to get that guy out. You've got to bring it. If you get good stuff when you're pitching for the Pirates, like,
you're still getting the adrenaline rush, as you say.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a personal thing there. It's not the pressure of being on a first place team's different.
Yeah, but he may personally put a lot of pressure on himself.
Oh, you do. You're going to put the personal pressure on yourself, but the pressure of 50,000 people screaming and everything like that, a sold-out stadium, 8,000 people in the stands, it's completely different.
Yeah, but he closes on the road, too.
Yeah, but I'll also say stuff
is... Oh, that is the truth.
And stuff is stuff. Like, if he's got good... Look, we can find out quickly if a guy upstairs has it, right?
Like Greg Soto was good
with the Tigers.
And terrible here. And that's a perfect example. There are some guys where that works. I just don't think it's a great rule of thumb to go by.
I don't think it's a blanket.
I'm not going to hesitate trading for Bednar.
Statement that you can say, this is going to be, if a guy did something one place, he's absolutely going to do it another.
Yeah, or that he's not correct. If he has it. Like, you never know.
Correct.
I'm just not going to base my opinion off of, all right, it's for the Pirates, so how real is it? By the way, his ERA, both home and away, both under 3. It's better.
I like that.
Better at home, but 2.14 at home, 2.65 on the road.
I like splits.
They're still both really, really good.
See, that's very good in his favor.
Yeah.
Those splits are very good in his favor.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Look.
Listen to will Ricky be on today?
No, it's
with
me.
The day game? So it's you.
Yeah.
Dude, you're double dipping today, too, huh?
Yeah.
I'll be listening in.
Busy guy.
He's a very busy guy.
And then I got the Birds Insider after that.
Oh, my gosh.
And don't forget, we have the meeting of the families at 11:30.
Yes.
I'll be getting lunch.
The 5 families getting together to be good.
It's the divorce settlement.
It's the child custody meeting.
I'll be getting lunch. I'm innocent in all this.
11:30.
It's Kramer versus Kramer.
We'll bring the details to the air tomorrow.
We got to fight for custody. I mean, a little custody arrangement here. We at least want some visitation.
I'm innocent here. I'm just,
we want
neutral.
some visitation.
All I'm focused on is trying to give the best coverage, and I hope the audience, and I just hope the audience enjoys it. I just try to be responsible in my analysis and provide context, and hopefully everyone enjoys it.
We just want to fight for at least shared custody.
Yeah, I'm just saying what I'm focused on. I can only worry about what I'm doing.
You're keeping the main thing the main thing.
Right. We want visitation rights at least.
I got to ask you. I asked them earlier.
Bill wanted to move you to another state.
If you had to get a Jalen Hurts quote tattoo, which one is it?
Well, I would never do that, just to be clear to the audience.
No, neither would I. I wouldn't get it.
All right, Bruce Wayne, what's your answer?
I wouldn't get fatigue makes cowards of us all tattooed on me in real life.
You don't want that.
I won't even entertain that. I'll say one that I really like is either you win or you learn.
All right.
Oh, I love that one. Love that one.
Because that's something you can always apply to your everyday.
See, I thought you'd be as standard as the standard guy.
No, you either win or learn. That one resonates because, again, it can be applied to every facet of life.
All right. Can't wait to see when you're in Clearwater in September. You have it tattooed on your chest.
I would never, ever do that.
That is one that the Jamaican mothers will teach you. Those who do not learn must feel. That is a Jamaican saying.
How about that?
From the Jamaican mom.
I
so
like that.
You get a chance to learn, but if you're having to be told twice and 3 times, well, now you're going to feel it.
But wait, Connor, what were you about to ask me?
Oh, no, we can move past that. It was a dumb comparison. Don't worry about it.
Okay, now I kind of am. Yeah, now I kind of do want to worry about it.
You can't do that, Connor. You're on listening audience.
You're on the spot now, brother.
What do you have to say? I'm referring back to what you said.
I was saying the meeting of the families is like when 2 girls fight over me at the bar. You just kick your feet up and enjoy it, Andy. That's my advice to you.
Yeah, but one of them is more realistic. And that's when families have to meet.
Yeah, listen, you are living in fantasy land,
Connor,
my friend.
with you, the bigger girl always wins. So it's all right. She always wins.
Jeez, John.
She always wins.
No, it's
the bigger, tougher girl.
It's
I'm equal
what are you
opportunity,
talking
baby.
about?
It's whoever's watching the TV bar that Connor specifically
Yes.
put the channel on.
Hey, by the way, you see me up there?
I don't want to make a big fuss. I am Connor Thomas, but if you want to just seat me in the back, that's fine too.
Hi, do you know who I am?
By
Yes,
the way,
I am who
yesterday,
you think I am.
PJ's in Westchester yesterday, Unfiltered, was up on the big screens. They were looking great yesterday on the big screen.
Well, they got to put Bill's muscles on the screen, man. They need the big screens for it.
It was looking great.
What do we got in the text line there, Mr. Thomas, who girls fight over
God.
according to one person?
I wasn't going to say it.
Well, you shouldn't have.
This texter brings up another name for the Phillies at the deadline, a name that I mentioned. Go grab Ramon Laureano from Baltimore. Your guys' thoughts on him?
Look, he's a tremendous outfielder.
He is.
Very, very skilled glove. He could play center field. He could play corner for you. The bat's not going to change the trajectory of this lineup, but
he's a righty bat, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, and he
He's a
plays
righty.
corner outfield.
Right.
So
That improves you.
Here's the thing. You got to say, we can't just look at these guys in vacuum of what our ideal player is. I don't need someone that bats 280. Our current left fielder is batting 200 and change. So if you get someone batting 250, that's a pretty darn big improvement.
Yeah. He's batting 280 this year. He does have 15 home runs. He's got more pop than I thought this year. But he can play center field for you. He's not strictly a corner outfielder, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but I'd rather have him be the Kepler replacement and then have Crawford up in center field.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that. I would not say no to Laureano, and I don't think it's going to cost you too much.
And the O's, we know, are selling 100%. They've already traded Sir Anthony Dominguez.
Yeah,
to a
in the
team
middle,
they're actively playing against.
in between two games, which is amazing. What else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in here, and this texter is just ready to roll. They say sell the farm for Mason Miller and Brent Rooker.
Yeah, but these guys...
They're not available. They're not available.
It's not MLB The Show.
And why are you trading? Why would the A's, who, by the way, right now have one of the best young stables of Major League talent, why are they trading away? Why are they trading away Mason Miller? And now Rooker's what, 29?
I think he might be 30.
He's in that age group.
Either way.
He's like Alec Boehm age. He's not getting. Why are you getting rid of him?
Now,
for the A's.
let me ask you something.
For what? Like what? Like where are they improving? They're taking a step back. Anybody they get rid of, they're taking a step back.
I think we all agree that if somebody we really respect in sports makes a move, you go, damn.
Yes.
Like Howie. I imagine there's fans outside of Philadelphia that aren't Eagles fans that are like, damn it, if Howie thinks he's good, he must be good.
Absolutely.
We do it with Danny Ainge all the time, right? So according to Bob Nightingale, the Astros, who are surprising everybody with the age and all the injuries that they've dealt with this year, they're still in first place of their division. They have their eyes on Nolan Arenado. Does that change your mind a little bit? I was listening to Mike Missanelli's show yesterday. Mike and Ray were both adamant, like, no way. They're out he's washed.
Why? Because of the next 2 years?
Because he's washed. Because his numbers are down this year. If the Astros show interest in a guy like him, does that change your mind or add to your intrigue?
What are they asking?
No, I'm just saying
does it mean that I get the closer with it? Do I get Housley with him?
Yeah, it would probably be both. But I'm just wondering for the people that
your team's better. If now look, I understand what Mike and Ray are saying, but your team's better if you bring him in here. Your team's better immediately. Day one, your team's better. If you move Boehm to first, Harper to the outfield, your team's better.
I get what you're saying though, Andrew. If an organization that's held in that high of regard is interested in a player like that, does that raise your antennas? For me, no, because you have to worry about yourself. You can only worry about what you're looking for, what you have available, and where your needs are. I don't know that you can look at another team and engage.
The need is right-handed bat. He has that, but because the power numbers are down this year, there are a lot of people that are like, all right, is he on the decline?
You may have your own reservations, and I don't think that you can make a decision based off of, well, I'm going to gauge it because they're interested.
Right.
Yeah, and they also lost Isaac Paredes, who's been playing third base for him. He may be done for the year, like season-ending surgery.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so that's why they want him.
Okay, so they're very desperate.
Yeah, so
they've been dealing with injuries all year.
They had
desperation.
And they're still hanging around.
They're they've what, the second best record in the American League?
Amazing.
Like they
I don't know how because it seems like every time I look at them, they're on a losing streak. I think they just lost like 5 in a row or something.
Yeah.
And they're still sticking around. The American League yesterday, I think Mike and Ray were talking about it, had like the first team shows up 6th or 7th in the power rankings. In the Major League Baseball power rankings.
That's actually kind of wild.
It is crazy.
Amazing. All right, time now for the Kincade Salciunas Key 3 best minutes from today's show.
Now, the Kincade Salciunas Key 3. Today's best.
You are a little worried about the trade deadline. We've been talking about the last 2 days that we are more anxious than excited, but I'm anxious to the point where I think they make or break their World Series chances in the next 36 hours. You have a little bit of a different worry.
Yeah, it's just another concern. You know, the word anxious yesterday, it came up in my mind when Amy was talking yesterday. And the idea of anxiousness came up into my mind. I found another reason why I should be anxious a little bit is that Dave Dombrowski, a lot of people believe his job may be on the line. And Preston Mattingly getting, promoted last offseason because they know Preston Mattingly could be out the door this offseason if he doesn't get a boss job. If the Phillies don't want to lose Preston Mattingly, they might be saying to themselves, Dave Dombrowski gets this chance. He's had plenty of bites at the apple to get something done, and it's been declining results. If he doesn't get something done, do you lose Mattingly and keep betting on Dave Dombrowski? So to me, you got a guy who is sitting there with all the assets at his disposal that might know, I got to get it done this year. This is the last hurrah for Ranger, the last hurrah for Schwarber, last hurrah for Real Muto, at least under contract. What has he got to lose? He doesn't care. If the Phillies show him the door, he'll get another job. Dave Dombrowski will get another job in baseball
in like 5 seconds.
He doesn't care. So that worries me. When somebody's got nothing to lose, look, Dave Dombrowski's a very nice man, but he doesn't give a damn about us. He doesn't give a damn about our next 10 years. He cares about his next 10 years. Human nature.
Kyle Schwarber hits another home run yesterday. His 37th of the season. He has 101 hits. That's unbelievable that out of his 101 hits, he has 37 home runs. And he's hitting 256. So it's not like he's hitting 220. Like
remember when he was hitting 198?
Yeah, 198. You're right. And I saw a tweet yesterday. I think it was Buster Olney, who basically said Kyle Schwarber has entered the NL MVP race. It really is amazing how dominant of a hitter he's been. And if you remember, the first half of July, he had a pretty major cold streak where it wasn't just not hitting home runs. It wasn't putting the ball in play. And he's since got hot again. He's going to hit 40 home runs. He's probably going to reach 50 home runs. And you said clock's ticking. Same goes with the contract talk, because as this season progresses for Kyle Schwarber, more and more dollars are being added to that contract with the way he's playing.
Well, it is very clear, though, and you've heard it now from enough of the real reputable guys in Major League Baseball reporting circles. He's not signing an extension if the Phillies even came to him right now.
Right. Well, he wants to see how this plays out.
They didn't get it done. They didn't get it done before the year. They didn't come with a serious number. They didn't show him they loved him. And now he's going to wait. And we're going to August, and he's going to let this thing ride out. And he'd be stupid not to at this point. Let it run out, and let's see what he's worth. And he is going to be worth a pretty penny.
From ESPN, our man Adam Schefter joins us. Shefty, good morning.
Everything right now is geared towards the positive. And that's great. That's how it should be. But you're not going to really see, until we're into the season a few weeks in. Okay, now we have an idea of what Kevin Petullo can do. A better idea. And I think they have a lot of confidence in him, and they believe in him, and they think he's going to be good. But you got to go do it.
He doesn't care if we get put into baseball purgatory because of moves he makes at the trade deadline. He doesn't care if he guts farm systems because he's done it in 3 places. But unlike the other 3 places he's been, he came here with a mandate in this job to build up a farm system. And he did that with Preston Mattingly. But now that the farm system's built up, I'm worried about him raiding the shelves. I'm worried that it's the day before a snowstorm, and Dave Dombrowski's going in with a shopping cart, going and getting all the milk and the eggs.
Get them eggs, Dave.
No, don't,
Go
Dave.
Get them. Get the double-decker, 30-pack.
You know what?
So get the 60 eggs.
Dude.
Get the 2-gallon jugs.
Dude.
I want you smashing them like Stone Cold Steve Austin, man.
Dude, you got decades to go doing this job.
And you'll be sitting there with me.
And I'm going to say, well, forget that nonsense. But you have to worry about this, and the fans got to worry about this. It could be a long time.
Bye.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
Bye.
All right, there's the Key 3 best minutes from today's show. We were talking about the show the entire Key 3, I promise.
Yeah, you were talking about.
Tell us about life-saving cancer research, Johnny.
Yeah, I can do that, though. They're the best. Hey, Window Nation made a donation to the American Association for Cancer Research, and you can, too. Go to 975thefanatic.com/AACR. I'm living proof. Cancer research saves lives.
Andrew,
3
what's the
times
rest
over.
of the schedule today again?
So today I have Unfiltered. I'll be co-hosting with Bill Colarulo, and then after that, the Birds Insider. And thank you, John, for straightening out the screen. I greatly
Because
appreciate
that just
it.
took me 2 seconds.
Hey, listen. Let's make that common practice.
That just took me 2 seconds.
Ricky and I will thank you for that.
That just took me that 2 seconds that it took. Now, there you
go.
The 5 minutes that I take every morning to fix this studio up.
Look,
I wish you guys had to do
stand
that.
with Ricky on that one.
Yeah.
It should take you 2 seconds to put it back. It
You
shouldn't be
guys
a
should
big
clean
issue.
up this studio every morning. I'm going to leave it for you guys in the condition I find
Hey, listen, that's not us. There's other shows after us.
There's like pizza in here and
yeah, that's not
all
us.
kinds of stuff.
Andrew, thank you, brother.
Thank
We
you,
appreciate
brother.
it, as always.
Great job.
Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at it tomorrow. No Mikey missed today. It's Ray and Amy.
Mikey's here.
I thought he was out.
Mikey's here. I passed him in the hallway.
Oh, well, I haven't been out in the hallway. I thought Amy
He's still
was
limping,
in
though.
for Mike.
I
Okay.
want him to get checked.
So it's the Mike Missanelli Show with Amy and Ray. How about that? Bad information. All right, talk to you guys tomorrow here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on